Hi, everybody. This is the Dream Harrier E3 podcast. I am Michael, and I have a few of my mates over here. We're going to talk about E3. It's going to be awesome. So we'll start out with Pete. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
And we got John, your boy, over here.
Hello.
All right. We got a third guy over here, Piff. He might be in and out. Just take that as it may.
I don't even know why I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't really care about E3.
There you go.
Not either.
We need someone who doesn't care about E3.
Yeah, we need
Exactly.
an observer.
Yeah.
We need the
I
counterpoint.
watch these shows, I'm just like, I don't care about any of this.
No,
game.
but-
and then they'll show like Dark Souls. I'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
No, we need that point of
Like
like,
Elden Ring, and I'll be satisfied for the whole thing.
yeah, that'll be interesting.
It's a good chance.
We'll get to that. So this is like a self-contained kind of podcast thing. We're still working on our proper, regularly scheduled content, but E3, man, it's too hard to pass up. We gotta put something out here, and we got a bunch of different talking points here today. We're gonna go through the big three. Gonna go through Summer Games Fest, Keely's project, and some of the major players: Ubisoft, Square Enix, Take-Two, Capcom. All of them.
All them guys.
All the guys are going to try to go basically down the road. We're going to start with the big three guys and then just work it down the line. And we're excited this year, another big year. And we're obviously going to have plenty to say during the event too. But
E3's back.
E3's back, baby.
It was gone and now it's here again.
Is it?
We'll see. Hopefully.
I guess that could be an initial quick talking point. Just, it's back. And
We have a cat playing with a toy.
yeah, and that's totally fine.
There may be cat
Cats
noises.
need to have fun
This is
too.
a fast and loose first draft podcast.
Yeah.
Hope you
We're
enjoy.
just having fun. And so is the cat.
Trying to get the sea legs, so to speak.
So E3
Yeah.
was gone
Yes.
and it's supposedly back.
Supposedly.
Electronic Entertainment Expo.
Correct.
Yep.
Carl's Entertainment.
I can tell you, I missed it last year. Like I didn't. It was weird not having it.
Yeah.
I know it's like whatever but it was weird not having that big bunch of news coming out all at once within the span of 3 or 4 days. Like bam, 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 here you are.
It's the Super Bowl of gaming. It's the World Series of gaming. Or if you're someone who likes the footy like me, it's the Champions League of gaming. It's one of those big events that you look forward to and you circle on your calendar like, this is it, baby. It's just like a whole week of just crazy announcements. And Summer Games Fest did some of the job. It did close to as good a job as you could, I guess, given the circumstances. But hopefully things are back proper, and we're going to dive in.
E3 had some troubles, but I think maybe this gave them time to rethink some things, hopefully.
And we're all digital this year.
And
Too,
it's all digital,
it's
so
a little different.
They got, it gives them time to figure out their shit, and hopefully it's a good show.
Hopefully, yeah. And we still do have Summer Games Fest, too, which we're also going to talk about, like I mentioned.
And he did. I mean, Keely actively changed Summer Games Fest from last year because he had that was spread out like 3 months of content, and it was like slow drip of news. And now he's doing his in a day or 2 days. It's just like bam. So I think he took some feedback there too.
Yeah, I think he knew the landscape was going to change a little bit, obviously, from last year, and made some adjustments. So we'll get into that.
It's just not as grand when it's like spread out over time. It doesn't feel as much of an event.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, we can get right into it. So I believe the first one scheduled on kind of chronologically for the big three is the Xbox and Bethesda conference. That's on the 13th, according to my notes here. So that's going to be the first conference. What are some initial thoughts going into this?
Remember when Xbox put out a new Xbox?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
They did.
That's 2020. 2020 was a weird year. This is the first E3 since the launch of new
It's not like you
consoles.
could get one of those.
I know, it's not like you get either of them.
It's easy to get one of those.
Or the PS5.
It's relatively easy to get the Xbox One or the Xbox Series S.
S.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Series X, I believe, is still a little difficult.
He got one, but not a PS5.
That doesn't mean it's easy.
No, it was still
It's
timing.
still tough, I think.
Yeah. You still got to be right place, right time. You have to be happen to be on your computer and suddenly see the notification pop up.
Yeah, I don't think it wasn't as hard as finding a PS5.
Yeah, I still think PS5 is the hardest.
Ridiculous.
What exclusives does it have?
Nothing. I don't think, right? Does it have anything? I don't think it has anything.
I don't know.
We're considering exclusives as in like not even PC has it.
Well, I would say if it's on, I'd count a console exclusive, but I don't even think it has a console exclusive.
Yeah.
Just say, yeah.
If it's on only Xbox and
No
PC.
other consoles.
Well, Halo was supposed to be out,
Yeah.
which it isn't. But speaking of that, that'll probably be at E3.
That is on my list.
Yeah.
Funny, it's shocking, I know.
So, talking about Halo, we're talking about a re-reveal because that Halo Infinite reveal at their big event last year.
Yeah.
Was that not just E3?
It wasn't because there was no E3.
Yeah. It was an Xbox
It was their
event.
Xbox game show or whatever.
An E3 equivalent.
It was their big
Everyone had an E3 equivalent.
yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
World premiere.
Yeah, but famously, people weren't happy with it. Didn't like how it looked.
They didn't like the brute. That looked sad.
Yeah.
The sad brute.
He
became
kind
a-
of just nonplussed, just like
He became a-
indifferent brute.
Yeah, he became a meme.
I feel like
Craig? I think they called him Craig.
Oh, I remember that now. I was gonna say, I think my problem is even worse than like not liking it. It's like I barely even remember.
I remember
the
it.
reveal. Like it's just like
Halo.
I remember Halo was revealed, but like things happened in it. You know,
like Halo.
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean, it looked different. It
an
looked
impression
like
wasn't made.
the gameplay looked like Halo, but the world did look bigger and more interesting.
here's the thing about that trailer. That like the whole gimmick of that game, Halo Infinite, is that it's supposed to be open world,
Yeah.
which is a departure from
Yeah.
Halo. That trailer doesn't like show that at all.
No.
It showed a map.
Does it?
Yeah,
I don't
there's
remember if it showed the map.
they showed a map.
But like, it does. That trailer does a very poor job of it saying how this game is going to be different. It
Yeah.
just shows you a bunch of Halo combat, and it looks like
Yeah.
Halo combat, which you've been doing for. When did Halo come out? I don't even want to know. Don't tell me.
2001.
I want to say 2000, 2001, whenever the Xbox came out.
I would agree with you that Halo Infinite looked like it played like Halo, which I think is good.
Oh sure.
I think you want it to play like Halo, but yeah, they could have done a better job at showing that what is setting this game apart.
From the
Like I'll probably play it because I
Previous.
played all the Halos at this point because I'm.
I was behind, but you guys caught me up that one night. So maybe.
Yeah, like I'll say like I like Halo still somehow after all these years, and so does Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy Halo too.
So like I'm not negative about the trailer. I just think the trailer did a piss poor job of explaining what the game is.
Yeah.
So
Aside
basically,
from hey, it's another Halo.
But I'm expecting them to show this game again, and I think it's going to look better. They delayed it. They're taking their time on it, which
Yeah.
I think is good. I'd much rather them delay it and take their time
should be
and put
noted,
out
a lot of
good
delays
game.
this year too.
Yeah.
So we're definitely
I'm
dealing with
fine
that a
with-
lot.
I'm
That's going to
fine
be a
with
common talking point. So
Maybe get some more story info on the game.
yeah.
Yeah, I know rumors about Halo Infinite is it's launching in September.
Okay.
If you want some rumor mill stuff, there's like a potential battle royale-ish mode, but not quite. It was kind of
That would
weird.
make sense.
Yeah.
That would make a lot
That
of
would be
sense.
very unsurprising.
Wasn't there a tweet or something from some Halo dev that was like the only BR we
Yeah.
care about is the battle
The rifle.
rifle?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Right now we're just kind of retreading last year.
I would almost
what
be
we got.
shocked if they don't do some kind of battle royale
Yeah, same.
mode, because especially because you could do it like
not?
It's
you
it.
could do like because it's a Halo ring. You could do something fun with the map. you
Yeah,
know?
they could totally do it.
If it doesn't take off like the other big ones, like whatever, you still got a Halo game. It's probably still going to be fine.
Include the old multiplayer, of course.
Yeah.
Include the old like deathmatch and
Yeah.
capture the flag and all that stuff. But why not include a battle royale? I mean,
And I'm assuming if
obviously, like I can't just like snap your fingers and hey, we made a battle royale mode. But like, I don't know.
and I'm
Popular for a reason. So
They've had enough time to work on it too. I
cares? I
feel
don't
like.
know.
I'm gonna speculate a bit on
I would play
Halo
Battle
maps.
Royale.
I would try it.
if they're making a really big open world Halo ring. It'd be very easy to take sections of that Halo ring and make them battle royale or not battle royale maps or deathmatch maps or something.
Yeah.
Sure, that's
Especially if
right,
there's like underground areas or
Yeah.
you know.
Let's avoid the. Oh, it'd be so easy.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you just take a piece of map and there's your
We're not
multiplayer
game
map.
Yeah, you
creators.
just control C,
Yeah.
It's not creating.
V.
It's not creating a new map.
And then you open the drop down box that says single player and change it to battle royale.
I'm sure everything is a lot harder than you would think.
Sure. I'm not a game dev, but I have to imagine.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing Halo again.
I am too.
I want it to be good.
I think that's fair.
I am a person who likes Halo. I want Halo to be good.
Yeah, I was very pleased that they said they were going to delay it.
And I don't even think the first trailer looked that bad. I know there's some.
I agree. Like I didn't think it looked bad, and it wasn't until people started talking about it that I looked at it and went, yeah, I guess I could see what they mean.
Yeah,
but it looked fine to me.
I think it got heavily scrutinized.
But the fact that the game is such a departure, take all the time you need it. Also, just do that for every game.
Yeah.
Let games finish,
especially during extenuating circumstances nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Games are big and they cost a lot, and don't crunch. Please don't crunch.
Yeah,
take your time. I don't, there's plenty of games to play, but I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and just looking at the, again, this is the Xbox and Bethesda conference is going to be big. This is the first major thing where the Bethesda acquisition comes to light.
Yeah, that's huge in that it's going to be a huge show, I think, from Microsoft and Xbox, because it's those two big studios together in one show. Yeah. Not to mention all the other acquisitions that Microsoft has made. Yeah. You're talking Obsidian and In Exile and stuff like that. It's like they have so many teams now.
And with their first show, it looks like Bethesda's going to have something pretty decent to show, likely, with Starfield at this point.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I see that it is the show is Xbox and Bethesda, so even though Microsoft they own Bethesda, they're obviously giving Bethesda
headlining.
Yeah, headlining. Yeah. Like you mentioned, Obsidian and all the other stuff that they bought.
Must have been part of the deal that they made too.
Well, I think you also, if you're comparing it to past E3s, Bethesda always had their own show. So there was that question: is Bethesda going to have their own show, or are they just going to be part of Xbox? Yeah. So maybe they did it for that reason.
Well, the thing I wanted to mention is what do we expect from Bethesda? Because I feel like everything that they're kind of known for just feels super far off right now.
Well, if you're talking about
Elder Scrolls, we're not going to see for years.
Yeah,
I don't think we're going to see another Fallout title. I don't. What's that Star game? I don't know.
Starfield.
I still don't expect that.
I
don't think that game's real.
There's been screenshots of Starfield that have leaked recently.
And what was Wolfenstein? Doom?
Yeah. I could see Wolfenstein 3 showing up. I could see Starfield. I think Starfield will show up if you want me to. So too. If you want me to make a prediction,
out of their big three properties, I feel like it's the likeliest. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think there's been, like I said, there's been screenshots leaked of that game, and so I've looked at it.
They gotta be working on new Wolfenstein.
It's a third-person RPG in space.
No Man's Sky.
I don't think it's No Man's. It's weird because
I imagine
the screenshot looked like a dude in a spacesuit, like a normal spacesuit. Which I kind of thinking of Starfield. I was thinking it would be further sci-fi, you know what I mean? He's wearing a NASA suit, but maybe I don't know what the game's going to be.
Right. You mentioned it. Maybe it starts out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Starts out as that, and then it becomes crazy sci-fi wildness.
Yeah, it's got to be something. There's got to be aliens and stuff, right?
It hits the astronaut in the helmet, and he blacks out, and he's just in the Skyrim cart.
Yeah, I love
it. Finally awake.
I love the idea of sci-fi Bethesda game, right? But sci-fi Elder Scrolls, that, if you want to call it that, but who knows what it's going to be.
That's what I'm kind of expecting, but I mean, who knows, honestly. They could go a completely different direction. That's not exactly in their DNA that much, usually. Usually, Fallout and Skyrim or Elder Scrolls are very similar games, so it's hard to imagine too much of a departure, but it's always possible. But my expectation is, it's going to be all that good stuff in space, and it could be really interesting. It's the exploration part of it.
Exploring planets and I don't know. It could be cool. I gotta see it. I want to see it. I think it'll be there. As for stuff like Fallout, I don't know. I don't know about Fallout. There's been rumors of Wasteland because they have purchased that team too, and the rumor was that that team could be making a fake Fallout, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Modern.
like a modern
first
person wasteland game. Which, like, why not, I guess?
Sure.
I don't know.
You mentioned the Wolfenstein team earlier and possible new Wolfenstein. Aren't they also working on that Indiana Jones game? I don't think we've talked about that.
Yeah. I guess I'm
interested to see more of that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they're working on that, maybe they're not working on Wolfenstein, or maybe they're big enough to now work on. It's hard to tell because they got that Microsoft money now.
Yeah.
It's like, who knows what they're doing.
Who knows what that even means? Like, have you really seen... Has anything really come out since these Microsoft purchases? Like, has any big game come out under the Microsoft umbrella that was not made by them?
I think everything's still growing, right? Like they're still making those games, but I think we're getting into the time frame where that stuff is going to start dropping.
We don't actually know how fruitful these purchases will be. Like, we don't know how beneficial the quote unquote Microsoft money is to these studios. Like, it could be hurting or it could be
well, Tim Schafer has talked about it because Double Fine was purchased by Microsoft, and he said like they were going to have to cut stuff from Psychonauts, cut bosses.
Right.
Like the game wasn't going to have bosses, and then Microsoft purchased them, and they're like, oh, we can do bosses now,
Nice.
Which is cool. Obviously,
I'm just speculating.
That's another one, Psychonauts 2. We might see more of that.
Yeah, I'm hyped for that.
Double Fine stuff.
Love Psychonauts. Been waiting a long time for Psychonauts.
It has been a while.
How long?
When did I back that on Kickstarter?
Oh boy.
Did the first game come out?
Oh, Jesus.
We don't feel old.
No.
Yeah, going back to Bethesda stuff, I think for Microsoft and Bethesda, I think their big two are going to be Halo Infinite and Starfield, personally. Like, I think they're going to go out with that, but we'll see.
I think that I think Fable will probably show up.
Fable's a big one, too. That's true.
Because we got that CG reveal of Fable late last year. So I think it's maybe time to see that. And I think Perfect Dark. We got a CG cutscene of that one, too. So it's like, we could see those things. What is Perfect Dark? I have no idea.
What is, and
that's a new team, the Perfect Dark team.
Yeah. I never played those old Fable games, but what do you expect? Like,
I know some people
what do you think
really
a new Fable
I think it'll be very different.
Yeah.
Because first of all, it's not the same teams.
Yeah.
It's the Forza team.
Is it the Forza team?
Yeah, the Forza team is making Fable.
Another rumor, by the way, Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah. Probably happening.
Probably.
Start out as a young child and you grow up into a car.
Yeah.
Okay.
You plant an acorn and one day it'll be a car.
I see.
No, I kind of like the idea of the Forza team working on Fable because they clearly know how to make a world.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, the Horizon team is working on Fable, I guess. I could see it.
I could see it, yeah, sure.
I don't know. That CG trailer was wacky and kind of fun.
Yeah.
It had like a frog eating a fairy and stuff like that.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah. So, I think the Fable games always had a bit of humor to them and stuff. So.
It always seemed like they had a good amount of charm to them.
Their own charm to it,
Yeah, I mean, big open action RPG, sure, right?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
I'll say the Microsoft teams they have going right now are like, they just have so much going on. It's hard to keep track of.
It's hard to keep track of it all.
So I think this show will be big. I think it'll be one of the big ones. Yeah.
You could talk about this show forever just because, it's going to be huge. There's going to be so many different things that are going to be unturned and covered. And
speculating on what Fable could be alone, who knows?
Yeah.
One last thing about Xbox is studio acquisitions, right?
Do you think they're going to be buying more?
I think so. I don't think
they haven't stopped yet.
Well, they were talking about they want to get in with Japanese developers.
Yeah,
so I think they're going to purchase a Japanese developer. I don't know which one. There were rumors a long time ago of Sega, but that seems wild.
That does seem wild.
I don't know if I'd want that. But, yeah.
It's hard to say, but...
That's what I mean, right? We don't know how these acquisitions pan out yet.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
like a year from now, like half these studios could be shut down for all we know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Microsoft.
That's a bit pessimistic, but it happens.
Yeah, for moderate-sized studios, I can imagine them kind of waiting and seeing how things go. I can see more studios that are just like, man, we need the money, or we could really use some money and still have some quality people on them.
Luckily, Microsoft doesn't have the track record of like an EA. Sure, it could happen. I'm not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be surprised to see more acquisitions.
That's what I think about when I think of like all these acquisitions. Is
scary.
All the
it could go bad.
It could be scary.
EA and all the studios that died under its name. I don't know what's going to happen with Microsoft, but time will tell.
Yeah. It's always a risk when you join a big studio.
I think Microsoft has been doing pretty good. Game Pass is fairly successful.
Yeah.
Their movement towards PC gaming seems to be going well.
Yeah. They need to fix up the Microsoft store a little bit, but maybe we'll get there.
Game Pass has been good, yeah. Any bold predictions for Xbox Bethesda? Like something out there, something you want, something.
I just have written down for my predictions for Xbox that Halo will look good.
That is a bold prediction.
That's my bold prediction. I think Halo will look good as opposed to when it didn't look good.
Redemption arc.
Do it.
Yeah.
What do I want from Xbox? Like, what would be a cool thing I want from Xbox? I don't know.
I think they've got me pretty covered so far.
Yeah, they got a lot going on
already.
Yeah, they already just have so much going on. It's hard to really ask for more. I
already know a Halo game's coming. Is it too early for Gears? Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe a little teaser.
You played 5.
I know, I want to still.
Yeah, there's Gears 5, or weren't they doing a mobile game too?
I think so. Gears Tactics was popular.
It was like pop figures.
It was a pop figure game. And I don't know.
Not with figures, but they look like pops.
Yeah. They looked like weird.
I remember there being a lot of
caricatures.
A lot of laughter in the room when that dropped.
It's time to bring back brute force, everybody. That's that's my bold prediction. We're bringing back brute force with the Lizard Man. It's gonna be great.
The only bold prediction I have down here is Elder Scrolls mobile game, kind of like Fallout Shelter. Some type of silly little
I could see that.
mobile game that uses the Elder Scrolls IP, because they did one for Fallout. They do one for Elder Scrolls. That's the boldest I could get for this one.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked by that.
Yeah. Something fun. I liked Fallout Shelter. It was fun for however long,
I almost bought the Fallout Shelter board game because I heard it was way better than the mobile game.
That'd be really interesting. Why didn't you do it?
I don't know.
I would have played it.
Sure, I'll get it then.
Because I thought it's just a little silly mobile game, but I remember having fun with it. It wasn't too.
I played it a bit too.
Yeah, it wasn't too weird with microtransactions or anything. It was just a little fun game. So,
did we want to talk about Omen? Since it was.
Which one's Omen?
So it's their it's a new IP. It's their vampire game. I don't really know much about it.
It's an Arcane game.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Arcane makes good games. So I'm pretty interested in whatever they're gonna make. Deathloop hasn't come out yet. Right?
No, it hasn't. So Deathloop hasn't come out yet.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be out.
Yeah,
and I don't know if Deathloop is a huge game. I don't know if it's a Dishonored-sized game.
I don't know.
Not.
It's hard to know from the trailers.
Yeah.
It seems like it could be just a small game.
And I'm sure. So yeah, I mean, I'm curious in whatever Arcane's going to work on, and
it's immersive sim vampire game, apparently. I don't
take on Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah, that's all I can think
somewhere.
About. Is Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think like I said, that'll be a fun show. So hopefully lots of surprises too.
All right, get the next hour or so aside on this podcast, because now we're on to the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, and this is the one I could talk about for a while.
That's why I said we probably won't be that long, but we'll see. We can go as long as we want.
Might as well just get it out of the way what we're all thinking. What's going on with Metroid Prime 4?
I think it'll...
That's where we're starting? Okay.
That's what we're all thinking?
Yeah, that's what we're all thinking.
No, I'm cool starting there. Yeah.
I'm sure whatever.
It is interesting. No, let's go.
I would say to start with Nintendo Direct, to get the thing out of the way that is kind of weird. We are recording this on the Sunday about 2 weeks prior to E3.
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Well, actually, week and a half.
We're 10 days away from E3?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's coming up.
The Switch Pro has not been announced yet.
Yeah.
As of right now, as of recording.
Right this second. Someone check Twitter just to make sure.
There's a good chance that the Switch Pro will be announced in the week before E3. Mm-hmm. So I guess I just want to talk about the Switch Pro for a second before we get into it. Because I
think it's perfectly fair.
They've said that the Nintendo Direct that they announced for the 15th is not going to have any hardware announcements in it.
It said Nintendo
exclusively focused on software, yeah.
And not like any other indies, not any other developers, just Nintendo, basically.
Yeah.
Nintendo software, nothing else.
I bet there'll be some stuff, but... so yeah, the rumor going around was that Switch Pro was going to be announced before E3, and... who knows?
There's only so many days left, so...
Yeah, Nintendo could have changed their plans or whatever.
Very well could have.
The idea being that they'd announce it beforehand so that they could show footage of games using the Switch Pro and they'd look nice and other companies could talk about their games running on Switch Pro and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean...
in all fairness, they could mention it or like say like these games are running on a new Switch, but they might not.
Yeah,
they might not show it. But I doubt that.
What's the gut feeling of
that? Seems like a weird move.
Is the Switch Pro getting announced in the next week, or do you think it's coming after?
I was more confident last week than I am this week.
Yeah,
I think it will.
You think they just show it right before?
I don't know. I think they could put out a 10-minute overview trailer, like. This is coming.
Just that this exists.
This exists. Get ready. Here's some features of it. We're going to show games for it next week.
Next week, yeah. Could be.
But maybe it got pushed back. And we won't see it. I don't know.
I feel like we could really use a Switch Pro.
I think so too. Well, I think
the Joy-Cons are dying too long.
It's not. Yeah, I mean that, and then also just like I don't know, like Monster Hunter crashes all the time for me. I feel like, I've had multiple times when that game has crashed.
Switch to Switch.
I don't think I've ever had Monster Hunter crash.
I've never had it crash.
Okay. I don't know.
I haven't either.
I've had it at least crash like at least 3 times.
Wow.
While playing it, and it's like I don't know if it's just my Switch. Maybe
I've definitely heard. I mean, I haven't had it, and no one else here, but I've heard stories like people's Switches overheating constantly in the dock and the drift and just all kinds of problems. So
I definitely have drift issues.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you could say like the Switch. Some people's Switches haven't aged very well.
Yeah.
In the 3 or 4 years it's been out.
So maybe the time is right.
Oh, I think the time is right for sure. And like. Obviously, games like Breath of the Wild 2 and the Pokemon Legends Arceus, like those would benefit from a Switch Pro. Like we saw footage of that Pokemon game. And I think it looked okay, but like they definitely had some frame rate problems and like draw distance stuff. And it's like, a Switch Pro could solve a lot of that stuff. Like
stuff that you could see glimpses of back with Breath of the Wild, like the original Breath of the Wild, where it was a great game and it ran mostly fine, but there were areas where you could tell that it just you
go to the Korok Forest and suddenly you're playing a slideshow.
Yeah.
I'd love a pro patch for older games too, like Breath of the Wild, and just here's 30 FPS or 60 FPS at all times.
Some of those earlier, like those games that came out in the first year or two, were like I think more recent Switch games kind of have it kind of optimized pretty well, but some of the older games, definitely a little hitchy. So
yeah, Switch Pro. I'm hoping it gets announced because I want to see footage of those games.
Yeah.
Will it? I don't know. We'll see. But we do know we are going to see some video games for the Switch.
That is the one guarantee that they absolutely put out there. And there's quite a few we can get into.
Yeah, where do we start, right? I guess a game we can start talking about. Piff mentioned it earlier. Let's start with Metroid Prime 4, because it is a huge question mark, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
When did we last hear about Metroid Prime 4?
I believe it was probably September 2019.
It was when they...
Was it earlier?
No, it's when they canceled it originally, right? And then they said Retro was working on it. That's the last time we heard about that game.
It's been a long time.
There hasn't been anything about it.
All we saw was the title.
I think it's been as long as when it was announced to when it was restarted.
It was announced in an online showcase at E3 in 2017.
Yeah, 2017 it was announced, and then in 2019 it was rebooted.
Yeah.
So it's been 2 years since it was 2 years between when it was announced and rebooted. It's now been 2 years since it was rebooted, and here we are again.
Sheesh.
So I think we are at a time where we could hear about it. We could maybe see it, right?
They put out that video that was they had to like apologize.
Yeah, that's that video where they
yeah.
talked about Retro is taking over from Bandai Namco.
Right.
And yeah, I want to see that.
I don't know. I want to know what that is, even. Like,
Yeah, I mean, my guess for what it is
Prime series
is it's going to be.
but-
I think it's going to go back to looking and playing like Metroid Prime 1 as opposed to like a 3.
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I don't know if this is even in question, but I definitely think it's going to be first person because
Yeah.
I don't know why you would call it Metroid
Prime and then
Yeah.
not
It
be.
was not going to be in first person. If they just want to make a third person Metroid game, like call it Metroid 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Or something completely new, right?
It's probably going to play like Prime.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
And you could make the argument that Prime is that storyline, but
Well, you say play like Prime, but like I don't. I mean, yeah, it'll be first person.
I don't think the controls will be the same.
Well, no.
No.
Well, yeah.
Joy-Con move controls, though, you think?
It could.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I think it'll play on a Pro controller, and it'll
Yeah.
play in handheld mode, so it's
Yeah.
going to have
You'll have your options.
It'll have stick control.
It's gotta, right?
Yeah.
I think Splatoon, where it kind of gives you the option of
Yeah.
Gyro
Yeah.
sensing controls, too.
or yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
could see that.
I think so.
The thing with Metroid that I've heard other people speculate is Nintendo, the way they make their games, at least their mainline games, is they don't like to just do the same thing over and over again. I mean,
They like to have something like a
gimmick,
or a new, fresh idea.
Yeah.
I think they've come out there. There's been quotes or rumors
Like Mario
about F-Zero, where they're like, well, we'll make a new F-Zero and we have a new idea. Like, they don't want to just
Right.
here's a new F-Zero. It's still F-Zero. It's a racing game. So the reason why that game might have Metroid Prime 4 might have been like restarted from like development wise is maybe they did want to take like a Breath of the Wild approach where it's like it's
Open.
Metroid, not even necessarily open, but just like a
Big.
no. Like Breath of the Wild is not very Zelda. It's a big departure from what Zelda is,
Right.
And maybe they wanted to do something similar with Metroid, where they wanted it to be different.
I could see that argument, but also at the same time, I could see these people haven't had Metroid Prime in a long time, and not only that, they haven't
I haven't
had.
had F-Zero in a long time.
I know,
Yeah,
but
there's quite a few franchises that have been.
I feel like-
for a while.
I feel like
Let me finish my
Yeah.
point. The theory is that they wanted to do something different, and maybe it didn't work out. Maybe it wasn't working out to the way they liked it, so they went, let's just go back to the drawing board. We'll just
Yeah.
make another Metroid,
Yeah.
bring in retro.
Yeah.
that would
see
be
that.
if you want me to predict something about Metroid Prime 4. I think it's going to play very close to Metroid Prime. I don't think it's going to be
The departure.
a big departure because I think people want Metroid. Metroid fans have been wanting a Metroid game for so long. I think,
Right.
and I know it's Nintendo, so you never know what they're going to actually do. But
Yeah.
they announced Metro Prime Federation Force, and that's not what people wanted, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think they know what people want, and I hope that they deliver on that. Not that I'm against a big trying something new with Metroid. I'm not. I'd give it a shot for sure, especially if it's.
Absolutely.
They've been like, I love Breath of the Wild. I love Mario Odyssey,
Yeah.
trying different stuff. Like, yeah, whatever. But I think Prime 4 is going, especially with going back to retro. I think they're just going to try to make a good Metroid Prime game,
Yeah.
which I would love, obviously.
Maybe they start with that and then try to work in other things after they've got the formula kind of imprinted once again.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I expect there will be some twist. Like,
Sure.
it's not going to just be bog standard Metroid. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love that, but
You get to fly the ship.
they've kind of tried that.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of, not really.
2 playable characters.
You summon the ship and it like shoots a rock, and then you can go.
Just turns into Star Fox. Whatever. What was it? Adventures.
Assault.
When
you the shooter.
When I say there'd be like twists, I mean there might be like I don't know. We didn't play Metro Prime 2, but like that had like a
Dark World,
Light World, Dark World, that kind of twist. Which I don't know if that's a significant.
Yeah, not a massive gameplay change, but like there's some type of extra thing to it. Mm-hmm. I absolutely can see that too, honestly. But
and when you think about it, Prime 2 and 3 both had like a kind of a unique quirk to them.
Yeah,
that wasn't really that significant. It was still just kind of a Metroid game at the end of the day, but I don't know. I expect something like that.
It's going to have playable third-person Zero Suit Samus sections.
The silence says all.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it'll have something. But also, speaking of Metroid Prime, I think we're gonna get Metroid Prime Trilogy. I got it. I'm gonna predict this every time.
It's gonna have a nemesis.
Yeah.
It'll have a Resident Evil style
chase you.
Or Mr. X.
Yeah, it's Silux. He's just chasing you around.
Like Metroid Fusion played with that idea, right?
Yeah.
With the SAX.
Yeah.
But it was all just like fixed encounters. But I think a stalker like this is something I just thought of right now.
You're getting real close to my Metroid survival horror game.
Having like a stalker or a hunter in a Metroid style game could be fun.
Yeah, sure. I mean, because you want to talk like Resident Evil and Metroid to have the similar map systems and stuff like that.
Dead Space with Metroid.
There you go.
Yeah, I'd be down.
Resident Evil 4, but Metroid. I'd play the fuck out of that.
Yeah, I would too, actually.
So yeah, prediction, I think we're going to see it. I think Metroid Prime Trilogy is coming too, and I think they want to have Metroid Prime Trilogy before 4 comes out. So if they say, hey, 4's coming out in 2022.
Play the trilogy.
Play trilogy. It's coming out this holiday season. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. And I think that would be smart.
Do you think it's going to be like a timed collection?
I don't think so, but it's Nintendo.
You never know.
How much of Metroid Prime 4 will we see? Like, just hey, it exists, a whole gameplay trailer, maybe a little story trailer?
We already have it exists. We know it exists. So I don't think you can get
But all we got was a logo.
We did, but we know it exists.
Hey,
how much more
context? Samus.
Sure.
How much more context are we getting with the Metroid Prime 4?
I think if it's there, we see gameplay, and if they don't want to show gameplay, it's not there. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I don't see
their style.
Yeah, I don't see the point of showing a logo again. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
Or a picture of Samus. It's like, who cares?
It would be very disappointing, I feel like, if they did that.
So it either has gameplay. It could have a CG cutscene that here's an idea of what you should expect with Metroid Prime 4.
If the story is doing something different, they can have a story trailer.
Yeah, if you go, here's Silux, you know with the Silux in the game or something. But I do think you gotta show gameplay.
All right.
Yeah. Moving on from Metroid.
I would say the next one I'd like to talk about, Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
Super anticipated.
And all but guaranteed to be there.
Oh, yeah.
I think. Absolutely shocked if it wasn't there.
Right. That would be insane.
I would not say it's guaranteed.
All but guaranteed is what I'm saying.
I think it's a good chance.
Yeah.
I would not say guaranteed. I'd say nothing is guaranteed.
You're right. But what we know about Breath of the Wild 2 is that Aonuma said, we will see it in 2021. That's what he said. Mm-hmm. So it's either here or it's at another direct 3 months from now. But it's E3, right? So come with your big guns.
I remember seeing a thing where Microsoft was asked to testify in the Apple versus Epic games, and one thing they said is they expected Breath of the Wild 2 to be out last year.
Yeah, 2020.
And they were shocked that it wasn't. So it's kind of this thing's got to, their competitors are starting to think, it's starting to come around.
You want to circle back to Switch Pro rumors. You could speculate that Breath of the Wild 2 isn't out yet because it's waiting for the Switch Pro. Or vice versa, who knows? But yeah, I think it's going to be there. I hope it's there. I really want to know what this game is.
Yeah.
It's easy to. It could just be more Breath of the Wild, but knowing Nintendo, I think it's gonna have something added on top of it.
The one thing I'll say to that is Breath of the Wild 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a direct sequel.
So I think there will be less of a departure than than typical.
Yes.
Like there was like a Galaxy and a Galaxy 2 for Mario.
Right.
Wouldn't be shocked if this game started as DLC and then got bigger, kind of like Galaxy 2.
I think it'll be like 90% the same game with maybe like a
very similar map
mechanics layered on top of it,
which I think is fine because I think Breath of the Wild,
maybe not 90%.
No, I think
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
Breath of the Wild is a fantastic game, but I could also sit here and list hundreds of things that I think it could do better.
Right.
And be more interesting and like, I mean, dungeons. I want dungeons in my Zelda game. The beasts were fine, but they weren't super interesting.
Not super memorable, no.
But Hyrule Castle, awesome environment.
Yeah, that's the one
I want like 7 of those spread out throughout the overworld. Looking at what we know of Breath of the Wild 2 is just that one announcement cutscene where they're underground.
Yeah.
I'd love if we kind of know that it's going to use the same map, kind of. I'm sure there'll be some differences in the map. So
maybe there's more developments, more towns as they've developed and rebuilt.
Yeah. But it's kind of weird because like a huge portion of Breath of the Wild 1 is exploring that map, and if you're reusing the same map, that magic is not going to be there. So I do think you have to have some new map or some new areas, or it's very different.
Yeah.
My guess is it'll be subterranean.
That's what I was going to say. Is I think there'll be underground areas. I mean, you see them in that trailer, walking around underground, heading towards that room where Ganon is being held down with the blue hand. I have no idea what's going on there.
As someone who didn't, get through the whole game, and then also hasn't really been keeping up, do we know how much further? I assume this takes place further in the future, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same Link and it's the same Zelda.
So it can't be too far.
So it can't be too far then. Okay, I was wondering like how much further could this be?
Yeah, it's not like
if things have really developed a lot in the world since.
At most a couple years.
Okay, yeah, so not much time.
And we know that Link and Zelda are going to go about rebuilding Hyrule or bringing it back to its former glory, and that could be a cool gameplay
that
mechanic.
could be you trying to build up the world.
Yeah, I would love rebuilding Castletown and stuff because it's all in ruins in the first game. So like
Dark Cloud,
or even just like you're bringing resources back from your adventures and shoving them into an NPC that's like, okay, we'll build this shop now.
I want to be like Dark Cloud and make towns.
Yeah, do it, man.
Well, they do one time. Maybe they do a light world, dark world type thing. Maybe?
You could, but I think I like the idea better of a subterranean and above ground world.
Like, you could just have like this massive spider web of tunnels and ruins underneath the whole world with maybe like different entrances all over around the overworld.
Bring back the mole people from Skyward Sword.
No, don't do that.
What?
But a subterranean area, I guess you'd have to really add some depth to it as well, just so you can still do your flying around and like some of the Breath of the Wild classics, or maybe something different. I don't know.
I mean, you still climb underground and stuff. And,
like I almost envisioned like the underground being more like dungeony, like you're like close quarters, like.
But you can still have like cave systems that open up into like big cavern areas with even underground towns or something too. There could be civilizations that have been underground Hyrule forever. You know what I mean?
The thing that comes to mind, and this is only going to make sense to Mike, but you remember Blackreach from Skyrim?
Yeah, something like that.
There's like this big like basically underground city that has like entrances to it all over the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm imagining. And again, this is only going to make sense to me, but Mega Man Legends had a large interconnected subterranean map that had different entrances all around like the overworld. Like you could go to one side of the city and go into an elevator and you'd be in the same part of the map as like an entrance on the whole other like side of the island. I don't know.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm envisioning.
There's so much.
You could go underground and
show up somewhere else on the map.
Right, and then stay underground and come up in Death Mountain.
Yeah.
Right.
Could you imagine if all the shrines in the original game crumble apart and like reveal these underground caverns, entrances? It's like, we don't need the shrines anymore, and they just fall apart.
I totally see that.
Yeah, because you don't need them anymore. So it's like, and now they're all entrances to these new world or something.
Maybe don't do that because then everyone would just know where all of them are.
There could be new ones too, but
I mean, maybe delete the shrine or like break them or something. But I don't think put them in the exact same place because some part of the fun is finding them.
Yeah. I think another thing you could do with Breath of the Wild to make that world fun to explore again, you could include going underwater, swimming, and have these new areas because there's so many like little lakes and rivers and stuff that you never go underneath, and not to mention like the ocean areas where you could have like little underwater caves and stuff that could be explorable and stuff.
Well, there's also nothing stopping them from being like, hey, we're gonna get on a boat.
Yeah,
and
go to
we're in a new area.
Right, yeah.
I was going to
say, screw all this underground speculation. Like, no, we made a new area.
There's also,
entirely.
In the trailer we have seen, the castle does lift up off the ground, so there could be something in the sky. Maybe the castle's going up and you're on it.
Yeah, maybe you can travel using the castle, travel around the world.
This might make...
Gets a gun?
Maybe give Link a gun.
This might only make sense to me, but...
It's not baseball.
Might only make sense to me, but between the two Red Dead games, like the second Red Dead game has like a chunk of the first game's map, and then like, they travel to another spot. You could also maybe do that.
Yeah.
So,
but I think
there's a few options.
I think they've built that world, and I think they do want to reuse it to get that game out quicker than they probably could otherwise.
Yeah.
Link gets lost in the forest and he comes out of a windmill into another world.
There you
entirely.
go. They've never done that before.
Yeah.
Other stuff for Breath of the Wild 2, if you want me to keep talking about it, is I want Zelda items in this Zelda game. I want the hook shot.
Give me the claw shot from, what is that, Twilight Princess?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Put that in Breath of the Wild so I can claw shot around all the geometry.
Yeah, Spider-Man around, right?
Yeah. Not necessarily Spider-Man, but just being able to... Yeah, kind of. I don't know. Yeah, fuck it. I don't know.
Also, give me a loft wing. I want to fly around.
You talk about underwater, too. Like, maybe there's towns that you can only get to if you have those boots.
Yeah.
You get down.
You could do... Well,
if you're
going to put dungeons... Like, I want them to put dungeons in, like, real-ass dungeons. Either like classic Zelda dungeons or more something like Hyrule Castle where you're just like exploring and it's like...
Yeah,
I like Hyrule Castle.
I don't necessarily want to be like, oh, you need to find the small key and open this door and then you find the dungeon item that lets you beat the boss. Like, it doesn't need to be that. It could just be like Hyrule Castle where everything is kind of open.
Yeah, but it's a big scary place and hard monsters and you walk into a room and a Lionel shows up.
Right. Interior maze labyrinths
to explore.
To explore,
It doesn't need to be like linear progression where you're, unlocking doors. Just have places,
but you could have
places to explore.
You could have these dungeon type areas and each one of them contains a special item that you go get and now you have the hook shot and now you have the
stuff
iron
that makes
boots.
Exploration easier throughout the world, or you
still want to make it
some way.
You still want to make it easy to like travel anywhere.
Yeah.
But like there's still like reason to get the items at the same time. Like try to find a balance between those two things because the part of the beauty of Breath of the Wild was you can go basically anywhere.
Yeah, the special items don't necessarily need to be like gatekeeping like they do in typical Zelda games where it's like, now you got the hook shot so you can get up on this ledge or whatever. It's like, no.
But there might be certain cool things in areas that you can get to.
Just a nice quality of life thing that you get that isn't necessary to get anywhere or do anything, but it's just fun.
Either just,
now I got the glass shot and I can just go zip up this mountain.
Yeah, by the time convenient or makes it so you can get to like a hidden area that you weren't able to get to before, or like
nothing required.
Nothing required, especially for an open world game like that. I don't think you would want.
You guys want to talk about destructible items? Because that's the big thing, right?
Let's just fuck weapon durability. I hate it. I would never play that Breath of the Wild with weapon durability turned on. I played it hacked.
Yeah, he cheated. He's a big cheater.
I love that game. It is one of my favorite open world games ever. It might be my favorite Zelda game ever.
Yeah.
And it's only because I cheated and turned that shit off. I desperately hope it is toned down or straight up eliminated in the second game. That's my opinion. Let's move on.
I want to talk about it a little bit because I think there's ways to do it where because this is the big criticism I've seen on Breath of the Wild from
it is surprisingly divisive as a game. As a game that is as enormously popular as Breath of the Wild was, there seems to be a big, like literally almost 50-50, give or take, whether or not people love or hate this weapon or mechanic.
I would say that I'm a person who it didn't bother that much. But also, if it wasn't there, I wouldn't miss it.
I think I'm the same.
Like, if you said, oh, the weapons don't break anymore, I'd be like, okay, whatever. Yeah. But I know there's also people who love the weapon durability.
It's a good way to learn how every weapon works because you kind of have to.
I would love ways to upgrade weapons, and maybe weapons you find an iron sword or whatever, and maybe it'll break when you use it, but maybe you can shove some stones you find or iron that you find into it, and it gets better. Or maybe you can upgrade it, and then eventually, when you get to the end of an upgrade tree, hey, look, it's not breakable anymore.
Right.
I think you've
spent a lot of time building this sword up, and now it's yours and won't break anymore. And I think that would be rewarding. And you could also have.
I think that's fair. There needs to be something.
Well, you got the Master Sword in the first game, and so you could have a sword that never broke; it would come back. But then you had all these other weapons, like you could never get a spear that would come back.
Right?
It was unfortunate. It'd be cool if
maybe every weapon works like the Master Sword, to where it's just crappy for a little while until you upgrade it enough. Yeah. Instead of just straight up breaking.
I think there's something you could do there, and I think that would be fun. And maybe that would be something that would appeal to more people, and even people who like the durability they can just choose not to upgrade. Or, hey, look, you're spending resources to get to a thing that you like, and I think that is fun.
Kind of like, not to bring it. Well, kind of like Dark Cloud again, where you had a durability, but then you upgraded it, and then it gained back more durability. And
I think there's a way.
John wants a new Dark Cloud.
Couldn't you repair your weapons, or could you not?
I don't remember.
I think you could.
I think you could. Yeah, you could.
I don't see why.
Well,
there were items that you could repair the weapons with.
Here's another thing about Breath of the Wild. It's not simply that the weapons break. It's they break after one or two enemies,
depending on the weapon, but
some of them. Well, I think that most weapons break after 30 hits, which is not a lot. Mm-hmm. So they are just super fragile. They're super disposable, and then they're just gone forever. Like this cool fancy fire sword you got, gone.
Yeah.
You're not meant to become attached to anything
because you're gonna find one.
They're disposable
and they're everywhere.
Doesn't even the Hylian shield break eventually?
It takes forever. I literally got one early on and it never broke. So.
You can get a replacement. Another one.
Yeah.
There are unique weapons in that game that once they're broken, they're gone.
Well, no, you can.
No, there are some. I believe I could be wrong, but I believe there are a handful of weapons that are one time only. And
really,
once they're gone, they're gone.
I feel like unique weapons shouldn't break.
I know all the champion weapons you can make, but it's why would you?
I believe there are some other weapons that are also unique. Or not unique, but finite.
Yeah.
Right.
But what I'm trying to say is that it's not necessarily weapon durability is always bad and always ruins the experience. It could have been, this weapon lasts for half an hour or an hour of regular play. It's not going to break after 30 hits. Maybe it, whatever number is way higher, 200 hits or something. And then you can, if you could repair it, if you could say, okay, this weapon is getting close to breaking, I'm gonna go back to town and shove some rocks into it or something. And then it's fixed. That'd be fine. That's gameplay. I could manage with that. I could deal with that. But the fact that it's just there's.
If you really like this weapon, you can have a way to keep it around.
There are ways to get lots of weapons that you want in that game, but I get it. I get being attached to a weapon, and I would love to upgrade weapons and keep them around. I think that would be because I think upgrading the armor was super rewarding, and it was just but you can't do that with the weapons. Anyway, we've talked about Breath of the Wild 2 a lot, but
I was going to say we're getting a little long in the tooth.
there's one more thing I want to talk about Breath of the Wild,
All right.
and that
One
is,
last thought. Yes.
do we think Zelda is playable?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I mean,
I don't know.
I thought, is there even a physical show this year?
No, I mean Zelda, the character.
Zelda the character.
I thought you meant Zelda. Forgive me.
No, Zelda, the character. Is she going to be playable?
Yes.
I really hope so.
I really hope so too.
Yeah.
If you're going to ask me
Why
to bet,
not?
I'm going to say yes.
I think it's time.
What I want is I want Zelda to be the only player.
I think that would be awesome. I don't think they'll do it.
I don't think they would do that. Yeah, I think you would be able to choose between either Link or Zelda.
Yeah, I'm not saying that will happen.
I think they should have that option.
I think Link is too popular.
If I were making bets, I would say it's just going to be Link and only Link again and forever, and we're never going to get.
I think that's
Zelda.
That would
But
suck.
what I want is this game, because it's a sequel to Breath of the Wild. We already had a Breath of the Wild with Link. But like, screw it. He's the one in distress. Now he's the one kidnapped. He's hanging out with Mummy Ganon.
I mean, that would be awesome.
And now Zelda has to take up the sword or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she's the hero. She needs to go and
Give
save
Zelda
the
the
day.
spotlight.
Like I
Give
think
Zelda a gun.
the game the game is called Legend of Zelda, for God's sake. And you've never heard this take before, but like, give her a role. Like, fucking come on, Nintendo.
You could argue that she does save the day in Breath of the Wild, but
you don't see her 99% of the game.
Same like she does it in any other game. Like at the end of the Ocarina of Time, spoilers.
she fought Ganon for 100
She shows up,
years.
shoots a sunlight beam into Ganon's face, and goes, "I'm doing it." Link stab him in the face, and Link stabs him in the face, and I don't know.
I get it. I think that would be awesome. I think what's more likely.
I think it would be cool. I think it would be fresh, and I think anyone that would whine that I can't play as Link, like they're a bunch of babies, and screw them.
I think
it's Zelda game. It's time for Zelda game. You have your Link game.
I support it.
These other Link.
I would have zero issue with that happening.
Same.
It would be so cool if Nintendo did that.
Yeah,
but they won't.
I think
They're cowards.
I think playable. I think her playable at all would be really awesome.
Phenomenal. I think
it'd
really
be. I kind of think it'd be cool if you played as both. Like you could switch back and forth at your leisure
That's what
for
I'm
whatever you wanted to do,
picturing,
or if you picked one at the beginning. Either way. But either way, I'd love her to be playable.
I think it's
Everyone who wants
have
playable Zelda.
the option to switch between the two, but I would be totally down for just, hey, it's just Zelda. I think that's fine too. You know,
I think them saying she's the only playable
awesome.
character would be a huge statement. That would be pretty cool.
That would be really cool.
I just have no. I don't think they'll do it.
Yeah, probably
Do it though.
not.
It'd be awesome.
It would
Probably
be
not,
awesome.
but-
It would be awesome.
I'll hold out hope and bet for both of them playable.
I'd be very, very hype if she's playable in any fashion.
yeah.
Like, yes, please.
I mean,
Unless she's just there to pick up the star
I'm not going
pieces.
to say I'll be happy with anything, because it could be like, what is it, in Odyssey, where it's like,
that's what I was saying.
It's the hat.
Sure.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't want
Unless it's that.
I don't want it to be that, but I want her to be like a fully functioning character.
Or in Galaxy.
I wouldn't care if she played like differently. If she had her own like she uses magic and wands and
That's what I'm picturing,
staffs and
yeah.
stuff.
I don't want it to be like,
You say pick up
little brother mode.
No.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
I'd be fine if it was a completely different experience from playing as Link, but it was also equal. Like it was really cool.
I'm thinking like the rhythm game.
The Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah, where you can play between the two characters and they have different abilities, kind of, sort of.
Yeah,
you know?
you say Zelda pick up the sword, but I can see her more like using magic or something, like maybe more arcane.
Both. She's a mage knight, man.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
My original pitch for playable Zelda was like, she has like maybe most of the weapons from the first game, but maybe substitute like the great swords for like staves or wands, some kind of magical weapon.
Yeah.
But then like instead of like the Sheikah Slate having like the runes, she would just have spells.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be cool.
Anyway, Breath of the Wild is a huge game. We're clearly excited for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be there.
Short hair Zelda, very cute. Keep up the good work, Nintendo.
Other things we can expect from Nintendo, I think we can expect Smash DLC.
Smash DLC.
We have 2 characters left.
God, I haven't thought about Smash in a
I know.
while.
Well, we have 2 characters left. I think we could see both characters announced at E3 because they're supposed to both be out this year.
Right.
Maybe they wait a few months. Maybe it's one or the other.
I don't think they drop 2 at the same time.
I think we'll get at least one.
We will get at least one.
I expect one, but I think they have enough.
They don't usually drop more than one at once, right?
Why would they give that up?
I don't know.
They could milk this for.
They could just keep milking.
I don't even have a guess
So who it might
for
be.
who it could be anymore.
I know. I haven't thought about it. It's kind of weird. But
I'd be happy to play more of a Smash, but it's something that has not been in my mind.
I love a Smash reveal. I love seeing who they're going to put in there. It could be anyone. I still want Master Chief because that'd be fun. That'd be great to me.
Artorias.
There you go.
yeah. Crash Bandicoot.
Fuck Solaire. He's boring. Artorias would be way more interesting.
I like both. I like both a lot.
Dark Souls, man. I don't know.
No,
different armors, different costumes.
It needs to be the Abyss corrupted Artorias.
That would be cool. It would be. Put Monster Hunter character in there.
I know, it's so weird that
at this point with the big tie-in.
That got like deconfirmed, right? With like amiibo, not amiibo.
I don't know.
It got like a Mii outfit, right?
Yeah.
I feel like anytime they say something's deconfirmed, like the
who knows
on the spirit board, like it's
deconfirmed with the air quotes.
Something later comes out like, oh no, that was.
No, it's like Xenoblade where they had the Mii costumes, and then later on it was like, here's Pyre and Mytha.
People try to come up with disqualifiers, and usually they end up debunked eventually.
I think I want it to be a third-party character just because those are more exciting and unexpected.
Yeah.
Because it could be anybody.
What? All but Byleth? Third party?
Well, we got the
pack?
they were, but no, in this pack we've already gotten Pyra and Mythra.
Yeah,
and
I actually forgot about that. I really wanted to play as them.
I did once. Fun.
I do think there's probably a Pokemon coming because we don't have a Pokemon from.
How many characters have they announced for the second pack? I stopped paying attention.
4?
Wow.
Yeah.
There's 2 more, I think.
What have they been so far? Obviously Pyra and Mythra, but
Pyra and Mythra, Sephiroth.
Yeah,
that's third party.
Yeah. Who's the other one? God, it's been
Min Min? Or was Min Min in the last pack?
No, that was the last pack.
Was it?
My brain.
No, I think it was this pack. I think it was the second pack.
Maybe it was
I think Min Min might have been
the
this
first
pack.
character for the second pack.
Okay.
I think so. The Smash
been a while.
timeline is getting muddy.
Sure, it's just those. It might just be those 3.
There's been so many announced I can't remember anymore.
The Smash timeline is muddy.
it's
We have not. None of us have played
Min
Smash
Min.
in forever.
Steven out.
Oh,
Steven
Steve!
out.
We forgot Steve.
My God.
Sephiroth and then Pyre.
Yeah, so it's been 4.
Okay.
So 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Third and first.
I do, like I said, I think there's a Pokemon coming because we haven't got a Sword and Shield Pokemon yet.
It's gonna be fucking Urshifu.
I want Toxicity.
It's not gonna be Toxicity.
It'd be cool though.
I'll take the bunny.
Toxicity.
I'll take Cinderace.
It's gonna be it's gonna be like fucking. It's gonna be one of the starters, or it's gonna be the.
I'd take Rillaboom.
Urshifu because it's just a punch bear.
Bear.
Rillaboom.
Rillaboom.
How do you have his drum set?
It's Final Smash. I don't know.
No, he has to have it at all times.
At all time, it's part of his body.
He carries it.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't want to speculate on this.
Yeah. Anyway, I think
it's gonna be Gyarados.
there you go.
It's going to be Bidoof.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, Smash DLC, that'll be there.
Everyone's
Yeah.
Basically guaranteed.
We'll probably see a little bit more Splatoon 3.
Yeah, I'm
Probably.
curious about Splatoon 3. I loved playing Splatoon. I want them to fix the things I don't like about it.
That's the big thing we always say when we're hanging
tweaks.
out.
Yeah.
We want to be able to play on the same team, all right?
Yeah. Matchmaking. Put team. Look, you get into a lobby with your friends.
Yep.
You hit the play button. I want to play, and you're in a game with your friends. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Come on, Nintendo.
Make it happen.
Also, I'd love a big, fun single player mode, which they've done. I haven't played the Octopath expansion. It's supposed to be really good. Octo expansion.
Yeah, Octo expansion. Yeah, Octopath.
That'd be an interesting creation there.
So yeah, that'll be there, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And then those are things so that's all we've talked about, stuff we know about coming from Nintendo.
Yeah.
Now we have what do we not know about? What could they...
Lightning round picture game. Peter, you know what you want.
Well, I will always pitch the Captain Falcon character action game. It needs to happen. I've said it for years. Put Platinum on it, put the Yakuza team on it, I don't care. But it's Captain Falcon. He's running around punching people, capturing bounties. You're getting new skills. Look, you can jump on top of your car and fight while it's racing down the road. It'd be awesome, man. It looks so cool.
I think that would be pretty awesome.
Do it. Yeah. What are you doing? You want something new for your F-Zero?
There you go.
It's right there.
As new as it gets.
You can still have racing in it. It'd be great.
Yeah.
I got Smash Kart down here. Forget Mario Kart now. We're going straight to Smash Kart.
I don't think they'd call it Smash Kart because I think Mario Kart is too big of a name.
Mario Kart Smash.
Mario Kart.
Smash is a big name too, mind you. But
I know, but it's just Mario Kart is huge.
It is huge.
It's so huge.
Mario Kart Nintendo All-Stars.
Yeah, you can do something like that.
Or Mario Kart All-Stars.
But you get the idea.
You could just call it Mario Kart All-Stars, but I feel like you need to say something that's hey, it's not just Mario, it's a Nintendo kart.
Yeah.
So it's Nintendo All-Stars. So
not expecting
put, Link and Isabelle on the box or something like that.
It's too close to PlayStation All-Star.
I'm thinking, what's the Sonic game? That's All-Stars.
It is All-Stars,
Yeah.
Sonic and...
That's true.
But you get the idea. I think it's time for Mario Kart to...
They've played with it.
Yeah, they played with it, and now it's time to take it home.
I just think courses based on all those franchises would be so cool.
Would be fun. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
Also, just be more character variety.
Yeah.
Crap. We don't need 7 different versions of Baby Mario.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I need Rose Gold Baby Mario.
Yeah.
He's my favorite.
I don't know, but I have a secret Nintendo.
Secret Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's Star Fox, but it's just Ace Combat.
There you go.
There you go. All right.
I don't want that.
Star Fox, but it's Mass Effect.
That'd be interesting.
I definitely don't want that.
Obligatory Mother 3 statement.
New Xenoblade?
Sure. I mean, that's probably
working on something.
I guess if I had my one wish, it'd probably be I want a Xenoblade 2 sequel.
We actually do know.
2.
We do know Monolith's working on something.
They are working on something.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
Well, other things that are rumored about Nintendo is Nintendo EAD working on Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Has been talked about.
Okay.
Rumor mill.
We got Donkey Kong 128 coming, baby.
Yeah. I want it to be a 3D game, but it's probably going to be a 2D game. There's been talk of a 2D Metroid from the Samus Returns team. Mm-hmm. I'd be way into that, especially on Switch. It'd look a lot better than on 3DS.
Yeah, for sure.
New Kirby game, probably. It's been a while since we've had a Kirby game, and I know that team wants to be working on the big follow-up to what is the next step for Kirby. I want to see that. The thing that's weird about that Donkey Kong rumor, the Nintendo EAD, that's the Mario Odyssey team. So who's making Mario? I have to imagine. I have to imagine that Nintendo is basically constantly working on Mario. They're never not working on Mario.
How about
so maybe a 2D Mario game or something?
Sure.
From the new series.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think there'd be what is it called? The one where you make the levels and stuff? Mario
Maker. I don't think we'll get Mario Maker 3 until whatever the follow-up Switch is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
But maybe, I don't know.
No, we'll just add paths to it now, like Mario Party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? I think Nintendo also needs to update the NSO, Nintendo Switch Online.
Oh, yeah.
I would love GameCube games or N64 games or whatever on there would be great.
That would be nice. That would be really nice if they did that.
I agree. NES and SNES. It's been neat seeing more unique games being added to that. So
yeah,
more of that
some
too.
Cool, unique
whatever they add.
Too.
And yeah, so there's so much Nintendo could talk about, and there's stuff that obviously we can't even guess because we're not.
Yeah.
They're going to come out with crazy stuff. Who knows? Yeah. I guess that's Nintendo if anyone doesn't have any big... I want WarioWare. Bring back WarioWare. There you go.
One of the Wario Lands, man.
Yeah.
Love those games.
Yeah. Something Wario.
Time to put them back in an adventure. What was the last one? Wii?
Probably. Shake It.
Shake It?
Yeah.
That's a while.
Yeah, give Wario his own game again.
Sure.
It's been too long.
It has been a while.
So that's Nintendo.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Next we've got like Sony, who's actually not at E3.
No, so this is a weird one.
This is kind of a weird one, yeah. Apparently they might have a few things to announce at Summer Games Fest. So this might be kind of like a combination of those two.
Yeah.
Because, we've actually already seen a few things past couple months,
Well,
right?
they just did their big
They showed
Horizon.
Yeah, they showed Horizon. They showed Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
So they've already kind of been churning some stuff out.
They also just announced that God of War 2 and Gran Turismo 7 are also going to be on the PS4, which is crazy to me.
That is,
Everybody's got a PS4 now. Everybody's got a PS5.
yeah.
And some numbers.
I don't know.
Shit.
I'd love to see God of War 2 because God of War was really awesome. I don't know if you call it God of War 2, but
maybe God of War 2 and a subtitle. Make it unique. I was thinking that too when I was writing this.
But yeah, Sony could. I don't know what Sony has. I have no idea.
Well, one thing I have down here, at the very end, there's hardware. They might talk a little bit about their PS5 VR.
They've talked about it.
Yeah, but they might go a little bit more into it.
We haven't seen it.
Yeah. Be good to see more. Apparently, it's really nice from early impressions. But
yeah, all those next gen VRs sound really cool.
Yeah, so.
And I'd gladly buy a PS5 VR.
I mean, the PS4 VR had some cool implementations here and there.
So
yeah, Sony's a big question mark to me because I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea.
Yeah. So we might be a little lighter on.
I feel like we know a lot of what's coming. Like we know God of War 2, we know Horizon, we know Ratchet and Clank.
I think that's a big reason why we don't have a lot. It's just like they've been slowly, steadily, just kind of showing us stuff.
They just announced that the Astrobot team is getting expanded and working on a new franchise. So it's like that's cool.
That's really
those games are always really fun.
Astrobot has really given Sony, PlayStation, that little extra fun charm.
Yeah.
Helps Nintendo out a lot.
I'd love Sony to show up in a big way and surprise everyone. I just don't know if they will. So
yeah. This definitely seems like between Sony and Xbox and Bethesda, it seems like it's Xbox move to really make the waves.
Really make a big move. It's their time to, I feel like.
If Xbox can come out with all of their teams, like here's everything that our teams are working on, it'll look very impressive.
Yeah.
But we'll see what Sony's got.
I feel like they need to do something. Xbox.
Like I said, listeners, I know we're a little quieter on Sony. We all really like PlayStation products. It's just,
I have no idea.
We've got a lot of question marks there.
Horizon, the new stuff in Horizon seems pretty cool.
Yeah, but we already know about it.
I know, but we already know about it. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I don't know.
It's hard to speculate because it's like we've seen the game.
Yeah, we've seen quite a bit. That's what's making it puzzling.
I can speculate about God of War, but I don't know. Will we see it? I don't know. I kind of just want more God of War.
More God of War. That game was pretty awesome.
Let's see where that story goes.
Yeah. Well, with that, I guess we'll transfer into Summer Games Fest. The big thing that
this is a weird one.
Three words keep popping up when we're planning this whole talk about Summer Games Fest, and that's Keighley has it. Yeah. Referring to Elden Ring footage, Elden Ring news. So
I have a site here open. It has been 728 days, 20 hours, 3 minutes, and 35 seconds as of this recording since the Elden Ring announcement.
Nice.
Yeah. that's incredible.
And the only thing we've gotten from Elden Ring has been leaked footage.
Yeah,
that's right.
Which looked cool. I looked at it.
I'd love to see something official though. Let me tell you.
It was blurry and off screen, so it's like I don't know, but it looked real. I think it was real.
It looked pretty real.
Yeah, people in the know said it was real.
I just really love the rumor. Just Keighley has it.
Yeah, so that was
it's got the footage.
Because there was talk that Elden Ring won't be at E3, and then someone said it's because Keighley has it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's actual inside knowledge.
Right.
But it's from someone who would be in the know.
So yeah, Summer Games Fest is a little tricky as well because they basically have a bunch of developers at that conference that are everywhere else in E3 as well, so we don't really have much of an idea. So
yeah,
the big talking point is Elden Ring, I guess, because he has it.
And I think that could be really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
So
what do we want out of it?
I guess I'm I mean, three of us here are Souls fans, but I'm pretty obsessed with Souls.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't really have much to say, honestly.
Yeah. Like, there's so little that we know, it's hard to really say.
What they've actually shown officially is
nothing.
Nothing, basically.
I did watch the leaked trailer. It does just kind of look like Dark Souls, which I'm fine with.
But big. Open-ish.
Supposedly. It's hard to really tell from
what they showed,
And, like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know. I think there's just still too much unknown about the game to really speculate. Like, obviously, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also not like chomping at the bit. I'm not like sitting here like fidgeting like, God, show me the Elden Ring. Like, if they don't show it, I don't know, whatever.
Maybe once you see it.
I feel like it gets to a point where you get a little numb to like no news after a while. It's like, oh man, like there's that one YouTube.
I just think that's just not how I like anticipate games. I tend to like kind of just not think about them until they're like a month away.
They get close.
Like, oh my God, I need to get like that's Monster Hunter Rise. I was like, that game didn't exist until it was like 3 weeks away, and I was like, oh, I need to play this game. But,
they must have announced this game just way too early, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
That's been said.
I'm sure stuff like pandemic didn't help either, but even without the pandemic, it seems like this is
wild,
weird,
wild.
Yeah, I believe the pitch. I don't know if this is something they said or someone like insiders have said, but the pitch is it's Dark Souls but open world.
Yeah, horse riding.
There's horses.
Open world.
Sure. Which, sure, that sounds cool. You could say Dark Souls : anything, and I'd probably be on board.
Dark Souls Breath of the Wild, baby.
Sure. Yeah. Except for that one part.
What are you talking about? Dark Souls always had durability in its weapons.
Different.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't really have much to say. The footage looked like hella Dark Souls, which I'm on board with, but like, just don't. What is there to say?
Well, we don't know how old that footage was either, so it could have come a long way. You know, and I'm excited. I want to see any footage of that game in HD and what is? I want to see it. Show me it. Show it to my eyeballs.
I like open world RPGs like Skyrim or Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah.
I really like those games, and like I also really, really like Dark Souls. It's probably my favorite video game series ever. It has spoiled all other video games for me that I can't no longer enjoy anything.
That's broken.
But yeah, like so, like I am obviously I don't know. It's like I am very looking forward to this game, but I'm also just like I'm not excited, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I get it.
Will get there.
Yeah, I will. I will definitely get there. It's just it's not there yet.
They haven't showed you anything to be excited for yet.
But surely we're getting it. Surely.
There's no way we're not getting
it.
It's 100% guaranteed that we are getting it at Summer Game Fest. Keely definitely has it. It's going to be fine. Everything's fine.
When was it originally shown? Was that E3 or was it the Summer Game?
It was what's that game show? It was Keely's show. Game Awards, yeah.
I think that's true. That's right.
I think it was the Game
I think you
if he had it then.
Yeah. So other things in Summer Game Fest, we don't know that that's in Summer Game Fest, but it definitely is. But other games in Summer Game Fest are... He's going to have 30... He said he has 30 plus games he's going to show there. I don't know if those are all going to be new announcements. Probably not. But... some of them will be. He's got a bunch of companies who are on board with him. Mm-hmm. And this is happening on the 10th, I believe.
Yes,
which is
the first thing, basically.
Yeah, it's before all the other stuff. Like Sega is listed as a participant, and they don't have like a show or anything. Yeah, so I imagine if they're going to show anything, it'll be there. And they just had that Sonic Anniversary showcase where they announced that new Sonic game. And I'm going to make a prediction that we're going to see what that game is now that it's been announced at Summer Game Fest.
Makes sense.
Which we kind of know what it is because of leaks. Sort of.
Those are old leaks.
They're old, but it sounds like
Sonic,
it sounds about right. And Sega themselves accidentally revealed the name of it as being Sonic Rangers.
Yeah.
And that corresponds with leaks from earlier open world Sonic games.
Sonic Rangers.
Yeah. Hopefully it has a great theme song.
Oh, I hope so.
Just Burning Rangers.
Yeah. It's just Burning Rangers, but Sonic. Do it.
Entire game, yeah.
The entire game?
It's Sonic just putting out fireworks. Like, stations.
Yeah, man.
What Burning Rangers is.
Yeah. It's hard to guess what's at Summer Game Fest because it could be anything.
It could be anything.
From so many different companies. You know, Capcom's listed there. Does Capcom have their own show at E3?
Yes.
So it's like, I don't know.
According to these notes, yeah.
Yeah.
Summer Game Fest is sort of like a grab bag of whatever.
Yeah.
I think maybe some people threw Keeley a bone and threw a game at him.
There is a history of From Software showing stuff because I think Sekiro is also Game Awards.
Keeley gets the From Software reveals for some reason. I don't know. Was there really anything else to say? I could speculate that Kojima shows up at Keeley's event because of their weird friendship.
Yeah.
Sure.
And Kojima will reveal himself.
Will Kojima reveal himself?
I love that.
I don't know. I hope so. I want Kojima to be working on a horror game, and I'd love if that was revealed.
Yeah, with Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, sure.
Finally,
They're good friends.
I'd love it, but I have no faith.
I didn't have much for Summer Games Fest. I didn't see Activision Blizzard had
There's
a conference,
something I want.
so I just put, we learn when Overwatch 2 comes out during Summer Games Fest. I just threw something out there.
There you go.
Could be.
They make a horror game together and they call it Pure Terror.
Pure Terror?
PT.
Oh my god.
I don't know. That's what I came up in 10 seconds.
No, they'll just get the rights to Silent Hill and I'll make that.
Phantasmal transcendent, but
cool.
Okay, Transcendence.
yes, Phantasmal Transcendence. There you go.
That sounds like a Kojima title.
So we'll move to Ubisoft now. We're starting to get into the how E3 works. You got the big guys that make the hardware, they have their conferences, and then you have the ones that are more software oriented.
So Ubisoft happening on the 12th?
12th.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it's one of the first ones.
Saturday, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll have our normal Ubisoft fare. We'll have Far Cry. We'll have.
They just show Far Cry 6.
Yeah, they did.
They're going to show it again.
They're going to show it again.
Show it again, and then they'll show.
I don't know.
They'll show some Division. They'll show some. Yeah, sure. Why not?
The game's still alive.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
there's rumors of a big Division thing happening.
A third game, maybe?
I don't think so. I think it was going to be piled on top of what.
Oh, really? I would have thought
I have no idea.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
I got nothing on.
Just Dance will be there.
Yeah.
Definitely, they're going to dance down the aisles. There's no aisles because it's digital.
Maybe get another Assassin's Creed. Maybe announcement where you want it to be. I know Feudal Japan we talked about, kind of in our prep, but I could see some, I don't know, maybe Mayans, Aztecs.
Sure.
You could go
so many places.
You could go anywhere.
Yeah.
So
I'll say Atlantis, but they already did that.
basically.
Just go nuts.
Go to space.
Things I actually want to see from Ubisoft. I mean, I like some of those. I like Far Cry. I haven't played one in a long time, but Massive, the Division people, are working on a Star Wars game.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in what that is. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know what it is. It's hard to imagine just like a Division game,
but Star Wars.
Right.
But sure, I don't know. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a thing that exists still, and I don't know if we'll see it. I want to see it.
I've seen it floated as a prediction, as a trailer. It's kind of weird how long we haven't seen.
If I had to make a bet, with money, that game's not coming out.
No. Who knows?
Never.
I want it to. Mm-mm. I love Beyond Good and Evil, even though Beyond Good and Evil 2 doesn't look anything like Beyond Good and Evil 2. But
way too ambitious. It looked ambitious, but also there's nothing to it.
Yeah.
It's Star Citizen.
They've shown more since that.
Just we built some spaceships.
Michelle Ancel has also left the gaming industry since that announcement, and for reasons, he retired, and then the other stuff came out. But
there's definitely a few roadblocks there. For
hey,
sure.
Ubisoft, folks.
Yeah.
Ubisoft be Ubisoft. Something I also want to see is. I want to see more them working with Nintendo. I've heard a little bit about Mario and Rabbids 2, and I'd be down.
I'd be down. Sure, I was going to say something Rayman.
I played a bit of it, and I want to play more. I kind of wish
it's always on sale.
I wish it was multiplayer because I would definitely play it with Angie. But only a few missions are multiplayer. Right. You can't play the whole game together.
Yeah.
Just that game's turn-based, right?
Yeah, we could take that. Maybe I'd do that.
You could
Like,
play.
I'll control Luigi and you control Monkey Kong.
Yeah.
New Rayman Legends.
Oh yeah, new Rayman would be like. There's stuff Ubisoft could announce that I'd get excited about. Like,
New 3D Rayman platformer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Of Rayman 2.
yeah,
That'd be
All right,
interesting.
that'd be cool.
Rayman 3.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, or like John said, Rayman. The 2D Rayman games they were coming out with
fun.
were really cool. They have their indie series, you know, the Ubisoft originals or whatever. I don't know what they called them.
I have
but those are
Splinter
really
Cell
cool
on here too.
Yeah, they've been teasing Splinter Cell for a while.
Apparently, some people are saying a VR game. It's kind of weird, interesting, but
I don't know, but maybe there could be.
maybe it's a
That'd be a way to go.
maybe it's a
with
Resident Evil
Splinter Cell.
7
I think
situation where
people
you
would
can do
be.
both.
I think people would be disappointed if it was just a VR game.
Just a VR game. Yeah.
Except maybe they do Resident Evil 7 style, where you could do it either.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I could see VR stealth being kind of interesting, but
yeah,
I do agree that,
They've been waiting so long for Splinter Cell.
yeah,
can you imagine if, like, a series
yeah.
waiting for another installment for years suddenly said, hey, we're going to make a new game, but it's only going to be
Yeah,
VR?
I can't imagine that.
Crazy.
I couldn't imagine.
That'd be nuts.
That
Only
never
crazy people would do
happened.
that.
I couldn't imagine.
Apparently that worked out well for Valve, but
Apparently, it's a good game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it's fun.
But Alex isn't 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's Ubisoft. I don't know. Does anyone have fun predictions for Ubisoft?
Nope.
Yeah.
Not really.
Just
I'm sure Far Cry 6 will be Far Cry 6, and it'll be
Yeah, I'm sure.
just fine.
New
It looks
Assassin's
good.
Creed
It'll
will be
just
the new
fine.
Assassin's Creed, and then
Assassin's Creed in space.
more.
There you go.
I mean, that would get me to play one of those games. Yeah,
So moving on.
just go all out with it.
Creed,
Do something crazy with it.
Greek gods.
Wild.
Yep.
Did they do that already?
Greek gods?
I don't know.
Isn't that what the...
Yeah, there's another game.
Isn't that
that-
Odyssey? I guess it doesn't have gods, right?
No, I want it to be like there's just a Cyclops running around with.
Did that not happen?
I guess. Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Like
that's what
everyone's
those-
fantasy. Like it's,
Oh,
it's
okay.
just pure fantasy.
They go 100 miles an hour with
You
it.
walk up to Zeus and you like have a conversation about like fucking gooses or something.
Sure, man.
He knows a thing or two.
'Cause I thought
I already
that
got that Phoenix
was
Rising game.
pure Iliad and the Odyssey, so that's what I figured.
Yeah.
I played that game.
Square Enix is next in the lineup.
Coming out the 13th with their
Yep.
show.
I've got a lot of FF on here.
Yeah,
Final
it's-
Fantasy is like, I guess that's always your first go-to, but there's other things too.
Well, they had a big Dragon Quest event where they
Yeah.
announced a
Very
bunch
cool.
of Dragon Quest stuff.
Which I am excited for.
Yeah, I think that Dragon Quest, was it 3? 4? Which one is it?
3.
3?
Three,
Yeah, the
yeah.
remaking the
Remaking 3.
Octopath style looks great.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? There's always like a will studio apologize. Do you think they'll do anything for like Avengers? Like, oh, sorry about this experience.
No, I don't.
Usually the answer is no.
That's gonna get buried under the rug.
I don't think we'll even hear about Avengers. I know that
I'm
game.
just saying there's always a will the studio apologize, and the answer is always no.
That game had a lot of plans for expanded content,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's coming. So they put out. I think they put out Hawkeye. I think,
They did.
but I don't know if we'll get any more after that.
Right.
I saw an ad on Twitch for it like once.
Yeah.
Like, we bought this ad for like a day.
Now that we've got that Avengers stuff out of the way, I'm looking forward to the Final Fantasy news. Origins, that rumor is really hyped to me.
Yeah, so
That's very
to
interesting.
break
Final
down
Fantasy.
to break down what that rumor is,
Yeah.
there's a game called Final Fantasy Origins in development that is developed by the Neo team as a Souls-like Final Fantasy game set in a Final Fantasy 1-esque universe, maybe just the Final Fantasy 1 universe, I don't know. And that sounds cool.
Sounds brilliant to me.
I
Really
am super into that idea.
Yeah.
Sounds brilliant.
With caveats,
Yeah.
of course. As I said earlier, I really like Souls games. I really liked Neo,
Yes.
1 and 2. I liked 2 more than 1. I do enjoy a Final Fantasy here and there. I would be super interested in a Final Fantasy themed Souls-like.
Well, you have like
And I already know that the Neo people can make a good Souls-like. They've perhaps made the only good Souls-like.
you have so many enemies you can pull from, and so many like bosses you could pull from. You know what I mean? Like
I don't even think I'm that, but just like like weapons and and spells.
It's a great idea. Yeah, you got
like I said,
so many spells, so many different class types, or whatever you want to do. You know what I mean?
Imagine making the character I always make in these Souls games is I have a sword and a shield and I can cast magic. Imagine if you could make a red mage in this game. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what I want.
I think part of the rumor was that there is like a class system, which makes sense for a Final Fantasy game.
If it's based on like Final Fantasy 1, then you're gonna have like, your fighter, your black belt, your white mage, red mage, black mage.
Yep. And I'm just imagining, you're fighting all those classic Final Fantasy enemies, and you could even fight like
behemoths.
A behemoth as a boss, or even like the espers or summons or whatever.
And basing it around the early Final Fantasies, like Final Fantasy 1 is like a good idea too. It's like how many people are super familiar with Final Fantasy 1?
For sure.
Nowadays it's like it's a good way to visit that world and kind of introduce people to that.
Sure.
So.
Fight Garland and plin plons.
Yeah.
The music could be great. There's a lot that could be really good about this one.
I'll be totally honest.
This is one of the games of E3 I'm very interested in seeing. And I'm not even like a Souls player, but I just love the idea of it.
Maybe this is a take, but like if it hits, it might get me more hype than 16.
Yeah,
like that might be more up my alley.
Yeah, first.
I think 16. I mean, speaking of 16, I think it looks really good, and I want to see more of it.
We'll get to it. But
I am very curious about it.
I'd probably, if this ends up being real, I probably would have way more interest in this than 16.
Same.
One caveat, I have to say it. Let me make my own character.
Yeah.
I do not want to play as like John Final Fantasy. I don't want to play as like the Warrior of Light. Like I just have no interest in that. I don't like Neo 1 as much as Neo 2 because in Neo 2 I can make my own character. And in Neo 1 you play as some generic, boring white guy, and it sucks. And
you don't want to play as Butts?
You wait until you unlock the transformation thing, and you become someone else because that guy sucks. I do not want to be a pre-made character. Sure. If it, to me, in my opinion, a proper Souls-like lets you make your own character. Neo 1,
that's fair.
Learn this lesson. The Surge, learn this lesson.
Sure.
Like, fucking do it.
I'm good with it.
I think a big part of these Souls-like games are people like to build their character, dress up their character.
I think the keyword is
you make your own fashion set. Yeah. Like it is a big part of the Souls-like experience, in my opinion, is like you said, the customization and the agency you have over your character, your playthrough, your play style. Like everyone has their own way of approaching a Souls game, and that's part of the beauty.
Yeah.
So if it was just like, no, you're the Warrior of Light.
I think you will be the Warrior of Light, but I think you will customize your Warrior of Light.
Cat girl is the Warrior.
Yeah, I know,
of Light.
but that's what I mean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Spoilers. I play a lot of Final Fantasy 14.
I think you're going to be the Warrior of Light.
But the Warrior of Light can be anything. Anyone.
There is a canon design for the Warrior of Light.
Yes.
The guy that shows up.
I don't think you'll be that.
The guy with the blue armor and the horn.
You could get the armor in the game.
But I don't want it.
But you could be your own character,
dude.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I really want to see that game.
Yeah, we're all excited.
I think it would be more interesting to. Like if it's Final Fantasy 1, you're not just going through the events of Final Fantasy 1. You are in the world of Final Fantasy 1.
That's
maybe as things are happening, and you are like on the sidelines.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be like the exact story of Final Fantasy 1.
Oh, no.
It could just be that world.
And then it'll be like Souls like usually have like a darker tone. So and Final Fantasy can do that. 16 looks like it's going to have a darker tone.
Yes, it does.
Really dark, actually.
I was going to bring up what was the game? Type 0. Type 0 is very dark, very bleak, very depressing.
Yeah.
So they've done it before. They can do a dark, depressing, like bleak Final Fantasy game, and I think that would be fitting for the Souls-like genre. Like Neo is not like a good time, but it's maybe not as dark and bleak as Dark Souls.
Sure. So that's one to look out for. I hope it's real. Sounds real.
Really
people in the know have said it's real, and that'd be rad.
Brilliant idea.
on 16.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have like a crazy amount to talk about 16. We've seen the game.
I've seen it. It's dark, like we said.
Yeah, I want to see more of it.
Definitely want to see more.
I want to know more about what this game is.
Hard to imagine not seeing more of it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be there.
It's, if Final Fantasy 14 is any indication to go off of, like, Final Fantasy 14 has been excellent lately.
Yeah, we should explain that.
In terms of just, like...
Story.
Yeah, I guess mostly story.
Characters. And,
Characters.
We should say that the director or the producer of this game, of 16, is the man who saved Final Fantasy 14.
Naoki?
Yoshi P.
Naoki Yoshida, I think is his name. So I'm probably mispronouncing the first name.
They put him in charge of Final Fantasy 16, and based on that original trailer we saw, it did look like it had a more interesting story and...
which would get me on board for sure.
It's got that weird, it looks medieval, darker fantasy look to it.
I like it.
Classic Final Fantasy monsters in the trailer and stuff. I love that look.
Love it.
It's the first Final Fantasy in a long time. I don't play MMOs, but like 13 didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
14 wasn't really doing it for me.
That's the MMO.
Oh, yeah. 15 wasn't doing it for me.
15 looked interesting, but the execution wasn't there. There's a problem.
There's parts of 15 that I look at and I'm like, this looks really cool.
Yeah.
This looks gorgeous. And then it's when I see the gameplay and I'm just like...
Same.
The gameplay of 16 looked cool. It looked like an action. Like the action looked really good. Apparently they have people who worked on like Devil May Cry or whatever are working on that combat.
And after Final Fantasy 7 remake, I feel like I have
there
more...
might be some of that in the formula.
I can believe in them doing a good
action game
now than with 15.
If they're putting their resources where they need to be, I think this game could be really cool.
I think in the Final Fantasy department, I think they're on the right track at the moment.
Yeah, it finally feels like they're going the right direction.
I just feel
they struggled there.
Throw in 14 as well, and they're excellent right
with
now.
the identity that Final Fantasy has kind of taken since
13.
Yeah. Like I don't know why they didn't make the move to action earlier.
I don't know. They really hedged their bets on
10 is a very good turn-based RPG system. 12 is still turn-based at heart. 11's an MMO. But 13 looked like it wanted to be an action game with like the way things move and like it's very quick and flashy.
But it's not.
But it's stylish. But it's all menus. And then that got worse. Like if you look at 13.3, like that's a game where you control a single character, but you're still using a menu and an ATB, and it doesn't make any sense. Why are you just cutting things up as lightning? I don't know.
It did feel like they were lost for a while.
And then, 15 also looked the same way. Like, didn't the early stuff for 15 or whatever, what was it, Agito or whatever it was originally called?
Versus 13, or wasn't it?
Oh, Agito was Type 0, I'm sorry. It looked like Kingdom Hearts originally did.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's strange that it took them until 16 to finally go, oh, okay, Final Fantasy should maybe be an action game.
And we'll hire people who know action games to work on it.
They get a team going.
Well, I would say 7,
the dream
really,
team.
actually.
And then 7 kind of proves that. And then 16 also looks good. But
7 remake was fun.
But on the other hand, like it's good that they're putting out like things like Bravely Default and
I'm glad they could still
they still have their channel to let that out.
The traditional turn-based RPG still exists,
and it looks fresh in that format.
Like, those games are doing well. And
I'd say keep your turn-based RPGs there.
Yeah,
that's where people love
and
those.
Make them creative and stylish, like they have been. Like,
and then I love the direction that 16 is going. I hope it's good.
Yeah,
and
the point I guess I'm trying to make is Final Fantasy, the look and the style of Final Fantasy has become fast and flashy.
Yeah.
And
it's good.
I think makes more sense with direct action.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Do you have any, as the only, I guess two of you play Final Fantasy 14, do you have anything to say about what could potentially be there at E3 with 14?
Well, I don't expect really much at all because they like a month ago, a couple weeks
new expansion.
ago, they just had their fan fest.
Yeah. So
normally it's like an actual like physical event where people can go to and hang out. And
all digital now.
There's panels, but this year and I think last year it was all digital. But it's like an all day event where they would like stream it out, and they'd have like a concert.
So are you thinking like recap territory for an E3 if it's going to show up at E3 at all?
I just don't expect anything because they've already like they just had a big info dump.
The people who play 14,
they know.
Right.
They already just revealed a bunch of stuff about.
Do they even have much of a history with 14 content at E3?
I don't know.
Yeah, last or one of the years, Yoshida showed up on stage.
Okay, yeah.
I think it was promote Shadowbringers.
I think they're very.
I think it was before Shadowbringers came out,
right?
Or maybe right after.
So they'll use E3 when it makes sense.
It was the first time he'd ever shown up on stage, and I guess it was. People loved it.
So I mean,
14 has done very well for them.
It's easy to imagine that he will have a speaking segment during their show because he's going to be talking about 16.
I could see him showing up again for 16.
And then maybe he'll have a few words about 14. You know what I mean?
Maybe they play a trailer. Or something, but I think they've already revealed like the full trailer for Endwalker, which I haven't watched.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch it when the FanFest came out because I was behind. I hadn't been active on 14 for a while, and I wanted to catch up on the story before I watched the trailer, just in case there was any spoilers. But now I am caught up. I just haven't gotten around to watching the trailer, so I don't really have much to say about Endwalker. We're going to the moon.
Cool.
Yeah, like any good Final Fantasy.
I mean, if you say that, if you bought like digital. Or I guess there was no tickets. Usually you had to buy like a digital ticket.
How many Butterfingers do you have to buy?
I had to buy. I had to buy 3 Butterfingers, 3 king size Butterfingers. Because I had to spend a minimum of $5 to get this brown chocolatey like mount.
That sounds great.
I have it.
That sounds great.
I've never even pulled it out.
What a description.
I've never even seen it. I don't know. I was just like. One day I kind of wanted some Butterfingers, and I was like, I guess I'll buy $5 worth of Butterfingers, and I ate them.
They got you.
That's great. I ate them.
They got you.
It's still a fine candy bar.
Out of it.
It's not my go-to candy bar, but still good.
You mentioned going to the moon, where you can get the lunar whale.
Weird.
Mount. I think if you bought like a special thing during the FanFest, so everyone has this big dumb whale.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it actually. Yeah.
Big and dumb.
So they're aware.
And Walker, I guess, is supposed to be kind of like the quote-unquote end of Final Fantasy 14, but I think they've said, like, hey, this is going to be around for years.
I mean, 11 is still around, so...
11 just got an expansion or something.
That's pretty wild.
Insane.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I got no one here really knows what I'm talking about, but, it's Shadowbringers was great. 14... is way better than it has any right to be.
Yeah.
Hopefully Endwalker is just as good. Hopefully 16.
Hopefully 16 proves that
some of that.
Hopefully 16 is great and proves that Yoshi P should be the man in charge of Final Fantasy right now.
Yeah.
Still looking at.
Yeah. I think that would be great.
Anything else?
Yeah. Well, one last Final Fantasy thing.
Make a new tactics game.
There you go. There you go. There's a bold prediction.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
I was going to say 7 Remake 2. I don't think we're going to see it.
No.
Probably.
I don't think we're going to see it.
You don't think we might see something about part 2?
They might mention it, but I think we're going to show Intergrade. The PS5 version.
This is already which I haven't.
I don't think that part 2 will be playable until like.
Oh, I don't know if it'll be playable.
Earliest.
Who knows?
I think 24 is probably more reasonable to guess.
It would be cool if they at least mentioned something.
I think they might mention it.
Yeah,
I could see here's where you should expect it.
Give me a timeline.
No.
I think that remake series is going to take forever.
Oh, for sure.
But
it's going to take forever. But
having said that, if all this stuff is real, the Origins and 16 is good, I think Final Fantasy is in a really healthy place right now.
They're in a good spot. In a good way.
And moving on from that, Square still has more stuff to talk about.
I know.
Forspoken.
Wait, you mean
they're not only Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
Forspoken is their Project Luminous game that they've shown off. It was like their tech demo-y looking thing. It looks like It stars a female like mage character. It looks cool. I want to see more of it. I don't really have much to talk about with it, but I think it'll be there. Project Triangle. Strategies, that'll probably be there.
That'll be cool.
Hopefully we get a better name than Project Triangle Strategies.
Yeah.
There is no better name.
Oh, you're right. That is the best name.
Looking forward to that a lot.
Yeah. The game seems really cool.
Yeah.
Square could show up with a number of fun things. I don't know if does anyone have like a fun prediction they want from Square? But you said Final Fantasy Tactics. That would be great.
That'd be cool. I don't know if I need more Final Fantasy.
There's a lot of Final Fantasy.
How everything's been going.
Dragon Quest Tactics.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Get the Dragon Quest TH for them finally.
Oh god.
We never got like a proper sequel of Final Fantasy Tactics. Like
A2 or whatever.
Advance is rough. Advance 2 is better. It's okay.
Advance 2 is better. I like
Advance 2 is okay.
Yeah.
But like I want like a proper like follow up to Final Fantasy Tactics. It's not a sequel, but just like another Final Fantasy Tactics.
I would take a sequel too.
Makes sense.
I mean, we haven't even Advance 2 was the original DS.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Long ass time.
And in a world where the next Disgaea game looks like it's going to be really disappointing, we need Final Fantasy Tactics.
Fill in that hole, guys, please.
I can't see because the podcast was just hung my head.
Yeah.
Disgaea 6.
Big yikes.
Yeah. Here's my fun, bold prediction, which also could have been a Nintendo prediction. I want a Super Mario RPG remake. Do it, Square Enix. Make it happen.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy VII remake. With action.
Why a remake?
I don't know. Why not?
Just another Super Mario RPG 2.
I would take that because this is kind of going back to Nintendo stuff, but
set in the Dreamland. From
I don't know.
Doki Doki Panic.
I don't know who's working on Mario RPGs anymore because that that Mario and Luigi team kind of died, and then Paper Mario isn't really an RPG anymore. I would absolutely love if Nintendo wouldn't just say, hey, Square, do you want to make RPGs for Mario again? Like, yeah, I'd be so into that. So there's my... I want that to happen. That's my wish list. I don't think it's going to happen, but I want that to happen.
How would you like it? Would you like it like
Mario RPG?
Like Mario RPG, or would you like it more like Final Fantasy 16, you know, like
action RPG?
Action RPG Mario.
Stocky. Mario.
Wide.
I'll tell you, I'd take either, but I'm imagining something more like Super Mario RPG.
I know, me too. I just
tiny Mario man just like flying through the air like Devil May Cry.
I think the image is funny.
If I get the hammer,
if I get a Captain Falcon character action game and a Mario character action game, I'll be very happy.
That'd be nuts.
There you go. There's my Square wish.
That's all I've got too for Square.
Okay.
I got anything. Final Fantasy, you guys are doing good enough.
They seem to be doing better. We could talk about like their Western stuff, like Tomb Raider and Hitman and all that stuff. Tomb Raider could show up. I don't know.
Hitman.
It's been a while.
Hitman is them
anymore. That series did well.
Hitman is already out, right? So
that's not with them anymore.
Is that not with them?
Yeah, I thought they sold that off.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, so it shows how much I'm paying attention to Hitman. So I think that's all for Square Enix.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to their show. I think their show could be really cool.
Yeah.
We have Take-Two down here next.
Yep, Take-Two's up.
I don't have a crazy amount to say about Take-Two.
I don't know what they're doing.
I can be really bold and say there's going to be more GTA Online.
Yeah, well, really bold.
Really bold.
If you want to be really bold, you'd say GTA 6.
Well, I do have that.
Announced.
I have that as my bold. All I want from GTA 6, I want it to take place in Vice City so I can use the naming scheme because the Roman numerals would be a V and an I.
Like their Resident Evil?
Yeah. Like if it doesn't take place in Vice City, I'm dropping it.
Okay.
Done.
Doesn't exist.
Like
the only thing I can say about Take-Two is that I've heard a rumor about Borderlands spin-off called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which apparently would just play like Borderlands, so I don't even know it's a spin-off. But that might show up, that might not, I don't know.
I feel like I'm so done with the series.
I'm not happy with Gearbox.
And Gearbox in general,
No, you're not
a little crazy.
I think Borderlands 3 is probably a fine game. I'm sure it's fun, I'm sure it's good.
Sometimes I forget it exists, honestly.
Let's clarify. You're not upset with Gearbox as a whole. You're upset with
the guy who runs it.
Yeah.
Sure, there are plenty of fine people working at
Oh
Gearbox.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The greaseball who runs it is not. I don't really want to support him, so I didn't buy Borderlands 3.
Me neither.
Understandable.
It looks good. but I don't.
The lead up to that game's release was
disappointing,
embarrassing.
Yeah, not a good showing.
Take-Two could have a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah.
They're so big and they have so many different things they could announce. It's just like, I don't know. Where do you even start?
Yeah.
So we don't really have a lot in the Take-Two realm.
Yeah.
GTA 6.
We might start running through these quickly.
I'm more excited to move on to Capcom.
Yeah, we'll go on to Capcom.
Yeah. Because here's the weird thing about...
Evil Hank.
That's on the list. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. Is it's weird to talk about Capcom because if you're in the know-it-all, you know what's coming out for the next 2 or 3 years still.
Explain that a little bit.
So Capcom had their big leak that happened. I forget how it happened, but
extortion.
I think it was. Yeah,
I think it was.
But Capcom was just like, nah, and they just.
And this is not an endorsement of that in any way.
No.
But we have the information,
stole their.
It was ransomware, right?
It was ransomware.
Like in their internal documents, obtained it illegally. And they tried to hold Capcom ransom, I believe is the story, and Capcom didn't pay up, and then they
said, "Do it, punks."
They did it.
Yeah.
Which, kudos to Capcom for not taking that shit.
So we can talk about Capcom and what's coming because we kind of know about it.
Because we know about
there could
it,
be stuff that we don't know about that's not on that list.
I think they're gonna make another Monster Hunter.
I think you're probably right.
You're probably right.
And perhaps a few Resident Evils as well.
A couple of Resident Evils.
Yeah.
Maybe even a Street Fighter.
Maybe a Street Fighter.
Maybe
or
a Street Fighter.
some expansions to Street Fighter. We know what's on the list. Talking about what might be at E3, though, is a little more interesting because we can guess that a new Resident Evil will be announced based on their projected release schedule. There's something on there called Resident Evil Outrage.
Yep, not a numbered Resident Evil.
From what I know, could potentially be Resident Evil Revelations 3. I would love that, especially if it has raid mode.
Yeah, I would. I always say I still need to play 2. I loved 1.
Exciting.
Still need to play 2.
I love raid mode here.
Raid mode is great. I'd still love Capcom to make a standalone raid mode game.
Sure.
With like,
Hank.
Yeah, there you go. The last game on that leak list is called Resident Evil Hank. I think it's supposed to be Hunk.
It is. If you look up Hunk's Wikipedia page in Japanese, he's Hanku.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I mean that's crazy that they want to make a Hunk game, but sure.
Dragon's Dogma 2
is on that list, yes. And
fuck yes, I mentioned that earlier. Like, I love Dragon's Dogma. Give me a second game, please, Capcom.
I think based on
don't fuck it up,
please.
Based on the release schedule, I think Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to be there. It's supposed to come out Q1, Q2 of 2022. I think that time's out for being a reveal at E3. Mm-hmm. We do know that the creator of Dragon's Dogma has been super excited to work on this franchise again. And that's fun. I think that'll be really cool.
We mentioned Monster Hunter. I don't know if we're going to get a lot of Monster Hunter at E3.
We just got Monster Hunter
3.0
roadmap. They could show stories again.
Unless they...
Maybe they'll show some of the Capcom. Maybe some of those Capcom tie-ins. Maybe they'll show a little bit more.
They could maybe show some of the future plans.
Or they could come in with a big surprise. Like, hey, we showed you that roadmap, but guess what?
Here's more of the roadmap.
Not G-Rank. Well, G-Rank's coming, but it's going to be next year.
I know.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I mean, I think coming out with, like, we didn't tell you, but here's a new monster that you weren't expecting. That would be very fun.
Also, your cat can dress up as Lady Dimitrescu.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, my God. It's just full size.
Your cat's just...
Oh, God.
Tall and lanky.
I mean, they already made it so in World you could make the handler Mr. X.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah. Screw it. I don't know.
We could see Mon. I'm not positive we will.
Yeah.
Mega Man could show up. He is on that list, which is crazy.
What's the title called again?
It's translated from Japanese, so it's called Match. But from what I've heard, that could mean battle or war. So it's just like, who knows what that is? It could be anything.
I would say outside channel. How long is the Capcom conference going to be? Like, what are they going to show? Well, it's weird how we know, but we don't.
I know. It's like what from that list is going to show up, or do they have surprises? Or
how much of that is still
accurate.
Yeah, some stuff.
Because a lot of stuff clearly isn't in production. It's just like planned.
Yeah.
Whoops, cancel that.
Yeah.
No more Hank.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But Resident Evil 4 Remake could show up. We just got the Oculus version shown off, but the rumored Resident Evil 4 Remake, I don't think that's the Oculus version. I think that's something different.
Yeah.
It's part of the ongoing remakes of the other games. Yeah, maybe. Just I could see that being more of a Game Awards type thing, maybe. Like, some later in the year, but we could see it in
New Onimusha.
Oh yeah, Onimusha. When is that on the? What does that say on the list?
Q4?
Q4. Yeah, so that's definitely a possibility. That'd be a fun direction to go in.
I don't know how I feel about. I mean, Street Fighter right now.
You never know.
I would love a new Street Fighter. I think, but
I guess we could see like 6.
It seems like
6 is on that list.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's time. Maybe what time? When's it listed for?
Q4 or no Q3. Q3
of next year.
22. Yeah.
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 So
it's possible.
Might be a little early.
Some, but you wouldn't probably not see a ton. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the same with Onimusha actually. With those
okay.
Next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's about time.
Yeah.
And apparently things have gotten better with 5 since Ono left.
Yeah.
Much.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there was that.
So maybe
that state that people liked.
Yeah. So maybe that's a step in the right direction.
We can only hope
for Street Fighter.
Not the most. I think John is probably the expert here when it comes to fighting games. So
yeah,
I'm no expert.
You're a
expert compared to us.
It's fair enough.
I know one that you are certainly an expert in. Something that might get me a little back into the series, but just all the Ace Attorney releases.
Oh yeah,
some of those ones that never came out are coming out.
Very excited for that.
Ace Attorney 7 might be a thing.
It's on the list.
Yeah. So I definitely would. I'm overdue for getting back into that series. I know you said some of the newer games.
I just watched a trailer for the Great Ace Attorney. I was like, man, I like Ace Attorney. I should probably play this game.
Not to be overlooked in this.
Played all the ones that have come out here, and I really enjoy most of them.
Bring over Edgeworth Investigations 2.
Oh yeah, that's still
jerks.
Hung up as well.
They should do it. I would love that.
Out of all the games on this list that we've talked about on this leaked list, I think the one that would maybe have the biggest splash for like a big reveal at a show like this is probably Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah, I mean, for it's hard to tell how big of a fan base that game has.
But it's when you think of it's like, okay, Street Fighter 6.
Yeah,
if you're gonna make it a Street Fighter 6, like there's gonna be another Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe Revelations 3 or whatever is like a big deal, and that could be a big splash. But like Dragon's Dogma is a big, ambitious, open world RPG. It's probably like the biggest like. Look at this new thing we're making.
Yeah, especially if it's like
they could like show off.
If it's big and impressive,
it's got a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like that would probably be like the. Like, if you're going to talk about something, it'd probably be that. Because it's just like, Street Fighter is a known quantity. Resident Evil, also a bit of a known quality.
But big. Resident Evil will get people excited no matter what.
If it was Resident Evil 9, I would say, okay, that's the thing.
I mean, I'll be pretty excited for Revelations 3.
I don't think they're going to be... I don't think there's going to be Resident Evil 9.
No.
Well, no.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe
that'd be insane.
Maybe they put it on the stops, and like Resident Evil Revelations 3 is a big deal, and they put a lot of effort into it. It's just, who knows?
I'm pretty into these Resident Evil games recently, so I will be very excited either way.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's cool to see how hard they're going in on it, too.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
So I think Capcom's show will be pretty good. I expect it to be pretty good. Does anyone have any like wish list games or bold predictions?
My wish list game is Dragon's Dogma 2.
You have good news coming then, I think.
Ace Attorney character action game. Let's just keep them going.
All right. Wander the open world. Look for clues.
I can give you.
I have to say. I never expected Dragon's Dogma to get a sequel. Like, this is kind of like a big deal to me. So
sure.
It's like, no, that game's never gonna get. See that game? It like didn't sell. It's jank as fuck.
You might actually have a great E3 this year.
Yeah.
It's like it's some of this evidence here.
Elden Ring,
The stars are aligned.
Fantasy Souls, Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah.
It might finally be my year.
Maybe.
This is the year, baby.
Revelations 3. Metroid Prime. Yeah. It could happen, man. Yeah. It could happen. If I wanted to have like a wish list game, and this is never going to happen, but I'd love it to happen, I want Capcom and Platinum to work together and make Okami 2. Do it. Yeah. Fucking do it.
Yeah, made that.
You know.
They made a sequel to Okami.
Okami Den.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's not Okami.
It's a cute puppy dog.
You do play as a cute puppy dog. I would just love them to work with the original team who made Okami under Capcom, and please give me that game. I want that game so bad. That's my wish list.
I'll co-sign that. Yeah. I love that game.
What are the odds we get a Okami layered armor for Monster Hunter Rise?
High. I'd say high. I don't know. Maybe not high. It's just like you got the dog right there.
Yeah, the dog's just
like we had like all the like dumb
that would be
man
awesome.
shit and like all the it's like Capcom collaboration.
Yeah. Please do it.
Okami layered armor right around on Amaterasu.
Surely there's going to be a Rush layered armor.
Yeah.
They should do an Okami, an Amaterasu layered armar.
For sure.
You got the dog. Do it. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? It's right there. It's free money, you jerks. Yeah, so that's my that's my Capcom stuff.
Yeah.
I love it.
Could you imagine though, like Ace Attorney, like L.A. Noire, like
I got John good.
John has a new wish list.
That would be great though. I liked L.A. Noire. I think we could make an Ace Attorney version of that.
It's Deadly Premonition.
There you go. It's totally there you go.
Do you want to move on from Capcom?
Yeah.
All right.
So there's much left to.
We have Bandai-Namco written here, and the only thing I can think of for Bandai-Namco is Elden Ring.
And we've already covered it.
We've covered a bit. There's Tales of Arise.
Yeah,
which I'm sure they'll probably show that.
Yeah.
I wish I had been following the Tales of series more. I played a couple of the games, but I've never been like a big fan. I mean, I like them. I just never really followed them. Like I played Vesperia. I really liked that. I played Graces. I kind of didn't like that. I played most of Symphonia back on the GameCube. I own Zestiria and Berseria, but I've never played them. Yeah. I would like to. It's just those games are long.
Yeah. It's a series I wish I followed closer to, but I never did. So
Arise could be cool, but I just don't see myself playing it because it's just like I have these other games I should play. I don't know.
Yeah. At least they're not like in the same universe, so you can just pick one up and play it.
Yeah. You could skip them. I mean,
something I think would be cool from Bandai Namco is I want their relationship with Nintendo to keep going strong. Right. They just made Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll have anything to announce at E3 with Nintendo since that game just came out. They could maybe do DLC, expansion for Pokemon Snap.
That'd be really cool.
It wouldn't be like a crazy.
No,
they'd probably show it at the Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
But it is, we're talking Bandai Namco.
Yeah.
But yeah,
not much on that front. Like I said, the big
fighters.
Show Elden Ring.
Yeah, more anime fighters. Why not?
That's all I can imagine from Bandai Namco. I don't know.
But yeah, the big thing, the ace in the sleeve is Elden Ring, and well, like we said, Keeley has it, right?
Keeley has it. Show it.
All right.
Release the Elden Ring.
Yeah. Save that guy on YouTube who does 8 daily Elden Ring.
That's what I mentioned. I was going to mention earlier. Yeah. Here's today's update out there.
Save that man.
Give him something. But,
so let's just move right along, right?
Yeah. So the next thing, this actually will happen outside of E3, but we got to talk EA a little bit, right?
This is happening in July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said no.
July 22nd.
Said no to E3. We're going to do our own thing, I guess. EA Play, and July. So maybe they feel that's their best timing. Maybe the timing for them announcing their stuff's a little bit better. Don't know, but we can talk about some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I have stuff I want from EA.
Yeah.
I want Skate 4 to be real. I want
cool.
I want Fallen Order 2. I just recently played Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and I really liked it, and I want more. Please make more.
Still need to give it a go. Looks really nice.
It's fun. We have stuff from BioWare, which has been a troubled studio, but hopefully they can get it together and
has it.
And hopefully Mass Effect 4.
I fear for its safety sometimes.
I do too.
Like,
Mass Effect really does feel like if it's not a success, if Mass Effect 4 isn't a success, I don't know if they have much of a future anymore.
I guess they got Dragon Age in the works.
They have Mass Effect 4 and Dragon Age 4 in the works.
They got to hit
I feel like if either of them fail, or maybe one of them succeeds and one of them fails.
You can see
if
like
one of them succeeds wildly and one of them fails, maybe they'll be fine.
They tried with the stuff and it's all failed, and now they're going like, oh god, what did we had these old things. Let's go back to those. Those are safe.
Yeah, that magic.
I did buy the Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Oh, okay.
Recently, I haven't played much of it. It's been going through it really slowly, so I've only played the first game, but they touched it up a little bit.
Yeah,
this is a kind of a tangent, but I just wanted to mention it's neat.
It's got some of 2's gameplay with the RPG mechanics.
No,
or is that...
it's mostly the same game. What they've done is, like, there's some graphical tweaks that look pretty nice. Everything looks too nice. I think they like dumped the textures or something. But the combat is what they changed. It's mostly the same combat, but it's the look and feel of the combat. So in the first Mass Effect game, when you would shoot bullets, you didn't see the bullets in the air. Like, you didn't...
Oh, that's right.
There was no, like, tracer.
No.
Just, things would just take damage. And it felt really disconnected. But now that's changed. Like, everything has a very distinct, like, tracer effect. You can see the bullets traveling through the air and hit targets. There's not, like, the Call of Duty, like X that shows up for when you hit something, like the hit indicator. I think the later games had that, but that was not in the first game. All the sound effects for your weapons are completely different.
Pretty awesome.
They sound a lot nicer, but sometimes they're overpoweringly loud.
Sounds like something they need to take a little.
The combat does feel a lot nicer, and the game feels maybe a little easier. I think they added headshots, which I don't think existed in the first game.
Sure.
But yeah, it seems nice.
I would love for Mass
Pick
Effect
up that collection if you never played this game.
I would love for Mass Effect to be a healthy franchise again.
I
seems
played
like
a lot of Andromeda. I did not finish Andromeda. That game is
not good.
Maybe the trilogy working on the Legendary Edition was their way to mess around a little bit and try
I'm sure it was a way to get some money in
get the money and maybe work the formula a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe they can get something good with the next one.
Hopefully that, and not that I'm sure EA is not hurting for money, but hopefully that Legendary Edition maybe sparked some what's the word I'm looking for, like demand for
interest
in the franchise
in another Mass Effect game.
I'm thinking I'm picking up the collection too.
So. Yeah, I want to play it.
I'll probably get it on a sale one day.
I mean, it's a steal. It's 3 big ass games and a bunch of DLC for $60.
Yeah.
So yeah, EA
now with controller support.
That's good.
Finally.
I do like that.
Make a new Dead Space. Make Dead Space 4 and go back to the roots.
Yeah.
Back to basics.
I mean, I liked Dead Space 1 a lot. I need to play 2.
Yeah.
I think.
Look, Resident Evil's really popular again these days.
I don't need
Now's
EA
the time to do it.
That's true. The Dead Space people are making their own Dead Space.
Yeah. I forget what that game's called.
I know.
That's true.
I also don't remember what that game's called, but they're making it. So that's cool. Good luck to them.
Yeah, for sure.
All the Mass Effect talk too, and gotta remember at its peak, Dragon Age was really pretty dang good. Yeah. So,
and we have the news.
Cool
I think one of the Kotaku guys, Totilo, or he apparently Dragon Age 4 was going to be a games as a service, and then because he said that they have changed direction because of fan feedback, it's going to be a single player RPG.
I'd love to see some of the feedback.
I'd love to see some of that feedback.
Some of the wording.
I don't think BioWare wants to be working on a games as a service right now.
No, they were probably told to do that. Some suit came down and said, "Hey, do this."
It didn't quite work out for them.
Yeah,
the last time.
I wonder what the Old Republic looks like today.
I don't know.
The MMO. because I bought Mass Effect on Origin, and I played the Old Republic, so every time I load up Origin, it's just sitting there, and I look at it, and it's like, what are you?
Speaking
it has like a new logo and like a subtitle now. I don't know what it was called.
Yeah.
But it's just like Onslaught or something like that. But it's just like, what is this game?
people will be playing it.
What is this?
Non-canon. I think it's the only non-canon Star Wars thing that still gets like updated and worked on.
Grandfathered in.
Yeah. Which reminds me, remake KOTOR. Do it.
Do it.
Or at least remaster it or something.
Let someone else do that.
Maybe. I don't care.
I guess it'd have to be BioWare. No, let Obsidian remake KOTOR 2. Swap it.
There you go. That sounds good.
Or just, hey, let Obsidian make a new KOTOR.
That's all I got to say about EA. I don't have any.
Yeah,
same.
My wish list game would be something Knights of the Old Republic related, probably, but
other people can make Star Wars now, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So
Ubisoft,
EA.
like we mentioned.
Anything old that you'd like to see get brought back
From EA?
from EA?
I don't know.
Just make Mass Effect and Dragon Age good, man. That's all we need.
That's fair enough.
That's all we need.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Skate
I
4.
don't know.
Yeah.
Skate 4 should be real.
Should be real.
I would have said Dead Space, but like I said,
That would be cool
that's
too.
already being covered, so whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's just the rest of the shows. You know, every E3 comes with like the smaller studios, sometimes running stuff.
Looking forward to Devolver Digital show as I am always.
Yeah,
Just take your pick of what you want to talk about.
always a fun time.
I don't really care about the games and the show. I just want to see
like
the
Fall Guys.
storyline continue.
Yeah.
If they did something for Fall Guys to get me back in, that'd be cool. But yeah, seeing the
They've
narrative.
updated that game pretty regularly.
I really should visit it again.
Cool game.
Yeah.
It's a fun game.
I just love those. Their events are always a laugh, and I want that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it still will be.
Wholesome Games is doing theirs thing too, and those are always just really pleasant. And if you just want like super comfy games, look at that.
It's a good one.
Yeah, Steam is going to be at E3, which is weird.
That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah,
It will be interesting to see what they have.
I have no idea.
There's been some hardware rumors, but I won't go into that probably too much just because we don't know much. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been really substantiated.
Yeah.
So
You think Steam at E3 is like, are they going to announce something that people want? Like, is Portal 3 going to be a real thing? But probably not, if I had to guess.
New Steam Link.
It could just be like an indie showcase or something.
It could.
Yeah.
Could be.
Could
Could
be.
be an indie showcase.
That's what I imagine most of it is.
Yeah.
About like what does Valve do? I would
The
say
cloud.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You got your PC gaming show.
the classic, yeah.
someone's already making their own Left 4 Dead 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Back for Blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to E3 this year. I missed it, like I said at the top. I missed E3, and I think this has the potential to be a really good one. I hope Sony shows up and surprises with something.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like, hey, we're
Because I'm like trying to think like, who might have the best show here? And it's like, my Xbox is really good, Nintendo's looking good, Sony's non-existent. So it's like, if they can somehow throw something in.
I think Xbox has the potential to be the best show because they just have so many teams and so many announcements they could make and so much to show.
like we talked about, they've acquired so much.
Yeah, highest potential.
They've acquired so much, and I think this is their chance to finally just blow it all open.
Because they haven't shown, like, we know about stuff like that Fable and that Perfect Dark, but they haven't shown it. So it's like, show that stuff. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
This is their chance to blow the doors wide open.
I always think Nintendo has a chance to really win because they just have so much. They, again, potential. Like,
Make Perfect Dark look a Tomb Raider type game.
the rumor was that it's a third-person shooter, so
For the software studios, the Square Enix talk we just had got me really hyped.
yeah.
Action,
I think-
adventure shooter game.
I think of the third-party studios, I'm most excited for Square Enix just because that Final Fantasy Origins could be so cool, and then Capcom
too, yeah.
I don't know if I could pick like one I'm looking forward to most because I feel like I have a little bit everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I want to see Metroid. I want to see
Breath of the Wild.
I want to see Breath of the Wild, but I am terrified.
Sure.
I'm terrified of what that game could be.
You'll be able to mod it one day.
Enjoy the E3 hype before it all comes crumbling down.
I want to see Metroid. I want to see Elden Ring. I want to see Dragon's Dogma. I want to see this Final Fantasy game that may or may not exist.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like I have like a little, like I have one thing and like a bunch of different shows, so I don't know if I could pick which one I'm looking forward to most.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Looking forward to it.
I'm probably mostly excited for Square, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, and
I totally get it.
I want to see more of the Triangle and 6 and.
John just wants to see triangles.
I'm most excited for Nintendo, as I always am every single year.
I am too. Absolutely.
I want to see more of that Pokemon game. I want to see Breath of the Wild like gameplay. Like, yes, please.
I was recently thinking about Breath of the Wild recently. Like, oh my gosh, I suddenly just really want to play it. And I was like, oh, we're gonna learn more.
I know. So, it could come out this year. You know what I mean? It could be their holiday title. I don't know.
It's coming out tomorrow.
Shadow drop.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
The wildest shadow drop in history.
Anyway, I think it's going to be a good one, and I think we're going to come back after it's all said and done and talk about it and how we feel.
So. Yeah,
because I think I want to break it down once it's all over.
Oh yeah. This is all basically speculation and just trying to start the hype train going. And it honestly really has started going. I've started thinking about a lot of these games a lot more now that we've had a discussion. It's
not a long wait now.
It's going to be awesome. So all right, well we'll take ourselves out now. Like I said, I'm Mike. I'm looking forward to everything here. And you guys go ahead.
I've been Pete. Always has been. I'm the big Nintendo guy, so please, Nintendo, don't mess this up.
I'm Jonathan, and
I'll throw Twitter handles in the YouTube description, so don't worry.
There you go.
Maybe you just go to dreamharrier.com. It should have like a bio for all of us. It'll have our names and all our dumb internet names. Except for me. I'm Piff, only known as Piff. If you listen to this, I know we're kind of still have a smallish following, but if you do listen to this, we'd appreciate any kind of feedback that even if it's just like, hey, sounds good, or suggestions of how we can improve. This is our first attempt.
Tell us how bad we are.
Please.
Feedback is welcome.
I'm prepared to suck.
Eating guys during this podcast, please let me know when that happened, and I'll send you a funny cat gif.
There you go.
Excellent.
Anyway,
but we'd appreciate any feedback. And if you did listen to this whole thing, thank you.
Thank you.
If you listen to this whole thing, I'm shocked. But
hope you enjoyed it.
If you did, you're the greatest, and that's awesome.
And smash the like button, subscribe, all the good stuff.
All those things that they say.
All right.
The obligatories.
Have a good E3, everybody.
Yeah.
I'll see you on the other side.
Happy E3. Let's all go insane together.
Yep.
All right.
That's what they say. That's the catchphrase.